they would only be able to give a Han Tianzun-style reply, gloating JPG. A legendary book fan. I was originally thinking of going over to take a look, but now that I'm free, I'm just heading home. This ridiculous commotion, let whoever wants to go, go. I'm not going. Never gives gifts. Interesting, I have to go see this, rubbing hands together. On Jakesing Mountain, Jun Yixian lay in a pit, his body covered in wounds, his hair all gone, but the tribulation continued. System, why isn't this tribulation over yet? Isn't 9 the extreme number and 12 the perfect number? There are already 32 lightning strikes. Jun Yixian asked weakly, barely alive. Hearing Jun Yixian's complaint about being late, Chen Zhou was also taken aback. It seemed they were so engrossed in their game that Jun Yixian had forgotten. Ding, host, there's one more lightning tribulation, making a total of 33, symbolizing the 33 heavens. These are the 33 minor tribulations, you understand. After fooling the host, Chen Zhou looked at the Heavenly Dao, who was awkwardly holding a chess piece. Brother Heavenly Dao, strike him again. From now on, set this kid's tribulation to a unique 33 strikes. Okay, Tiandao gave an okay sign. After the discussion on unification was completed, the last lightning bolt struck symbolically. This lightning bolt had no offensive power. Instead, it was very gentle and warm. In an instant, all of Jun Yixian's injuries were healed, and his body hair grew back. Jun Yixian has returned to his handsome self, and is even more handsome and stronger than before. Because it was a mistake by the Heavenly Dao, all of Jun Yixian's subsequent cultivation advancements were paid for by the Heavenly Dao. Through Chen Zhou's intervention, Jun Yixian's cultivation level rose steadily, and he soon reached the peak of the Golden Core stage. At the same time, the Heavenly Dao bestowed its blessing, and Jun Yixian felt that his physical body, soul, and divine consciousness had all undergone a special sublimation, forming a perfect Golden Core. During the blessing from heaven, Jun Yixian also obtained 3 supernatural powers, as well as some guidance from heaven. In short, there are many benefits. Ding, the host has successfully advanced to the peak of the Golden Core stage. Does the host wish to continue breaking through? No need, not for now, I need to rest for a while. Jun Yixian immediately refused. 33 lightning bolts struck Jun Yixian, leaving him terrified. He neither challenged the Heavenly Dao, nor was he the protagonist, nor did he cultivate any demonic or evil arts. He was simply exceptionally talented, yet the Heavenly Dao subjected him to the strongest tribulation package of lightning that no one had ever heard of before. That's outrageous. After answering the system's questions, Jun Yixian began to adapt to his peak Golden Core physique. With guidance from the Heavenly Dao and that Supreme Combat gift pack, Jun Yixian quickly gained control of his own power. Jun Yixian is now invincible. Even the world's largest nuclear bomb cannot hit him. As for whether the temperature at the center of a nuclear bomb could kill him, Jun Yixian was unsure, since no one had tried it and there was no data or case studies. Even a Golden Core cultivator couldn't withstand a sustained high temperature of tens of millions of degrees, but a momentary one would likely not cause any problems. In short, Jun Yixian is very strong right now. After adapting to the power, Jun Yixian keenly sensed that armed helicopters were approaching from the sky, and thousands more were rushing to the ground. Jun Yixian smiled faintly, and with a teleportation he was gone. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Omega equals. Chapter 214, when I arrived, everything was fine. As soon as I got back, my home was gone. Hateful. Die. Tear. With bloodshot eyes, Zhou Tian frantically unleashed his innate skill. Bite on the sleeping, domineering cauliflower snake. Thinking of the humiliation he had suffered over the past half-day, Zhou Tian fought desperately and became extremely fierce. It didn't even notice the announcement from the infinite devouring evolution system. After an unknown amount of time, Zhou Tian, who had fallen into madness, slowly regained his senses. What followed was a long silence, a silence that was golden and also reflected Zhou Tian's mood. Zhou Tian couldn't hold back and burst into tears. Transformed into a snake, she was bullied by stray cats and dogs, forced to betray her own kind, assigned to odd jobs, ambushed by villains, severely injured, and then forcibly taken by a venomous snake. One miserable hardship after another piled up, and Zhou Tian completely broke down. Even looking at the shredded snake in front of him, Zhou Tian couldn't muster any appetite. Revenge, I must take my revenge. No matter who you are, Zhou Tian, swear here and now, I will search high and low, dig 3 feet into the ground, and find you. Zhou Tian roared in a fit of impotence. Based on Zhou Tian's more than 20 years of experience as a human, Zhou Tian judged that the guy who attacked him was a person, a powerful human. However, Keoj was the capital of the Great Shang Empire, an incredibly prosperous city with a permanent population of over 80 million, and with the floating population included, the total population exceeded 100 million. Finding the attacker among more than 100 million people is like looking for a needle in a haystack. Even if there are only 1 in 10,000 geniuses, Keoj can find 10,000. Moreover, Keoj has gathered countless geniuses and elites from the Great Shang dynasty, so the chances of finding a genius are even higher. Finding the sixth one among so many outstanding talents is harder than climbing to heaven. Zhou Tian was not unaware of the difficulties involved, but the grudge of having his tail severed and the subsequent events left him with a pent-up anger. If it weren't for the system, he would have just endured it. If you bind yourself to the system and then act like a coward, then the binding was for nothing. If I don't avenge this, I, Zhou Tian, swear I will not be a man. A ruthless glint flashed in Zhou Tian's eyes. Zhou Tian dragged his weary snake body and staggered toward the headquarters of the 10,000 Demon Alliance. Zhou Tian's first step in seeking revenge is to form the alliance of 10,000 demons. All of this happened today because the Demon Alliance sent it to Tianhu Park to find allies. If it weren't for those bastards from the Demon Alliance forcing it, it wouldn't have been ambushed or encountered that lewd snake. If we can't find the bastard humans who attacked it, then we can just find the alliance of 10,000 demons, which has a leader. Destroy the alliance of 10,000 demons, and with the blood of 10,000 demons, embark on its invincible path through the heavens. It wants the heavens, the earth, and all living things in the world to submit to its feet and become food for its mouth. After a long and arduous night of crawling, Zhou Tian finally reached the entrance to the dark and abandoned sewer network. He was dumbfounded when he saw the mess at the entrance. What's going on? Zhou Tian stood there dumbfounded. The entrance was a mess, with plastic bottles, foam fragments, dog poop, cat poop, rat poop, and other litter everywhere, as if it had been hit by a major flood. Zhou Tian knew very well that it hadn't rained today, and the drainage system of the abandoned sewers in this area hadn't been used for many years. Where does the water come from? This problem deeply troubled Zhou Tian. Without much hesitation, Zhou Tian pondered for a moment, then resolutely climbed into the sewer and began to crawl toward the location of the 10,000 Demon Alliance's headquarters, which he remembered. We'll only know what happened if we see it for ourselves. The spiritual energy revival has only lasted for a little over a week, and Zhou Tian doesn't believe that this half-baked 10,000 Demon Alliance will be discovered by humans. If humans were to discover the alliance of 10,000 demons, they would dig 3 feet into the ground and raise the entire area to the ground. The fact that the sewers are still there means that this wasn't done by humans. If it's neither man-made nor a natural disaster, then it can only be internal strife. What kind of demon possesses such power? Zhou Tian hesitated again. To be able to destroy such a powerful alliance of demonic beasts right under the noses of humans without alerting them, is this a force I can handle? Zhou Tian asked himself. Unsurprisingly, Zhou Tian couldn't defeat an opponent of this level, let alone be an enemy of this level. Let's retreat. In the end, Zhou Tian chose a strategic retreat. Rather than seeking revenge against his enemies, Zhou Tian decisively assessed the situation and chose to save his own life. A faint sadness suddenly rose in Zhou Tian's heart. He was fine when he came, but as soon as he returned, his home was gone. But life is unpredictable. The large intestine wraps around the small intestine. Ding, the chosen one, Zhou Tian, recalls the painful memories of his encounter with the rat snake. Zhou Tian is in immense anguish. His beliefs have completely collapsed, and his mind is twisted. Zhou Tian's luck value has decreased by 20,000, and the host has gained 200,000 villain points. Ding, the chosen one, Zhou Tian, has discovered the entrance to the 10,000 Demon Alliance in complete disarray. Terrified, Zhou Tian has chosen to flee, losing his courage to forge ahead. Zhou Tian's luck value has decreased by 30,000, and the host has gained 300,000 villain values. Ding, the chosen one of destiny, Zhou Tian, has lost one of his most important early opportunities, severely hindering his development and impacting his subsequent opportunities. Zhou Tian's destiny value has plummeted by 100,000, and the host has gained 100,000 villain points. 3 abrupt system announcements woke Jun Yixian from his sleep, but he dared not complain. He had already experienced the consequences of turning off the system broadcast. His villain value was hacked, and when he turned on the system broadcast function, he was taken advantage of. When you're under a system, you have no choice but to submit. It's frustrating. Jun Yixian glanced at the sleeping Gu Qinghan and said, "System, check Gu Qinghan's panel." Gu Qinghan's panel. Name Gu Qinghan. Gender female. Age 21. Physique, 9 heavens profound ice sacred body, not fully awakened. Favorability rating. 35, naturally cold-hearted, not much more than that. Realm, 9th level of Qi refining, equivalent to the peak of the transformation realm. Power, Jun family. Identity, girlfriend of Jun Yixian, the sole heir of the Jun family. Height, 173 cm. Charm, 9.3, even more charming after training. Cultivation technique, not yet practiced. Supernatural abilities, none available. Chest circumference, hip circumference, waistline, fold. Has the favorability rating not increased yet? Jun Yixian muttered to himself. Jun Yixian shook his head. After so many days of in-depth communication, this woman's favorability towards him was still stuck at 35. She really knows how to play the field. Fortunately, Jun Yixian never intended to increase Gu Qinghan's favorability. Otherwise, no matter how much money he spent, it would have been a complete waste. As for relationships, Jun Yixian doesn't force things. Everyone has their own aspirations, and as long as she is obedient and sensible during the time she is dating him, that's enough. Jun Yixian's previous girlfriends were also like this, all ending amicably. Jun Yixian shook his head, tucked Gu Qinghan in, and took out his phone to check the information about what happened at Jakesing Mountain last night. In bed, Gu Qinghan's eyebrows twitched slightly. She had actually woken up when Jun Yixian woke up, but she had been cultivating together until very late last night and was very tired, so she simply pretended to be still asleep. Gu Qinghan had a fairly good impression of Jun Yixian, but because Jun Yixian's family was of such high status, she naturally felt a sense of fear towards him. She wanted to be with Jun Yixian, but she was worried that the Jun family would not agree. She was constantly struggling with this dilemma, feeling both clear-headed and confused. "Sigh, I guess I'll just have to take it one step at a time," Gu Qinghan sighed inwardly. After Gu Qinghan put aside her worries, her affection for Jun Yixian instantly increased from 35 to 50, reaching a firm level of love. Chapter 215. Ha. I'm dying of laughter, there's nothing there. Shocking, what happened after being struck by lightning at Jakesing Mountain? Seeing that it was definitely the top trending topic, Jun Yixian promptly clicked to search. According to sources, no unusual objects were found in the lightning strike at Jakesing Mountain. Please see the related report below. The video suddenly switched to a handsome, sunny, and cheerful young man. "Hi, my name is Wang Lin, a third-year student at Keoge University. My online name is watching the show and giving big rewards. I'm very..." The video feed cut to a different person instantly, but Jun Yixian still managed to spot the staff member's figure in the instant the camera switched. "Haha, this student was very excited just now. Let's interview other witnesses first," the host explained with a professional smile. The scene shifts, and a sweet-looking girl appears in the frame. "Hello, we heard that you are one of the witnesses to the 33 lightning strikes at Jakesing Mountain. Could you tell us about your experience?" The girl nodded and began to recount the lightning strike incident at Jakesing Mountain in a soft voice. Seeing this, Jun Yixian paused the video and opened the interesting comments section. "I'm a scumbag. I've reported this video for false advertising and misinformation. Angry JPG X3. Ghost Shadow 30 replies to 'I'm a scumbag.' The host said at the beginning that nothing unusual was found, so who can you blame for insisting it's me?" Shrugs. The tenant who might not do any work replied to me as scum. "Really? Really? Surely no one is illiterate. I was just watching when it suddenly started raining. At I'm scum, you're true to your name, I can tell. 9-turn blood droplet. Ha, I told you there was no need to go. See. If you go too late, you won't even see the main character. 9-turn blood droplet. Ha. I'm dying of laughter, it's nothing at all." Ghost Fairy Sister replied to 9-turn blood droplet. Never Giving Gifts replies to 9-turn blood droplets. "Hey, dude, you're still putting on an act. Aren't you afraid someone upstairs will bring you warmth?" 9-turn blood droplet replied. "Brother, calm down. I'm in the Jun family, I'm not afraid of these scoundrels who sell their heads for profit." Upon seeing this, Jun Yixian suddenly became interested and added a reply. "Even the nickname is being snatched at 9-turns blood drops. Oh, you're in the Jun family. I'm a member of the Jun family too. Tell me who you are and I'll see if I recognize you." After replying, Jun Yixian continued scrolling. What are you looking at? A seductive, alluring voice rang out. Jun Yixian looked up and saw Gu Qinghen curiously crawling over to look at him, her face full of sweet smiles, which seemed very natural. There was no longer any restraint. Look at the trending topics about Jiaxing Mountain yesterday, Jun Yixian said casually. Jun Yixian had noticed everything from Gu Qinghen pretending to be asleep, to getting up and spacing out, to sneaking over to peek, and then trying to scare him. Jun Yixian didn't point it out, deliberately cooperating with Gu Qinghen. Seeing that she hadn't scared Jun Yixian, Gu Qinghen's face showed a hint of disappointment. Jun Yixian smiled faintly, then casually pulled Gu Qinghen into his arms and began to caress her soft skin. Hey, what are you doing? Gu Qinghen glared at Jun Yixian reproachfully, her eyes filled with laughter. Jun Yixian kissed Gu Qinghen's head and said in a deep voice, "Let's watch it together." Okay, Gu Qinghen nodded obediently. Meanwhile, Zhou Tian escaped from the dark sewers. Looking at the chaotic entrance to their headquarters with a sense of lingering guilt, Zhou Tian muttered to himself, I originally wanted to take revenge myself, but I didn't expect you guys to be so weak. You really brought this on yourselves. The Demon Alliance has been destroyed, and I'm no match for that sixth brother who ambushed me. Then it'll be you, Jun Yixian? Zhou Tian silently selected his target. Jun Yixian, that bastard, not only caused it to lose its second brother, but also took away its beloved goddess Gu Qinghen. Unforgivable. The thought of his beloved goddess being humiliated by a spoiled brat like Jun Yixian filled Zhou Tian with bitterness. Qinghen, wait for me. I'm coming to save you and help you escape the clutches of that wicked villain, Zhou Tian secretly vowed in his heart. Little did Gu Qinghen know that she didn't care about Zhou Tian at all. In Gu Qinghen's mind, Zhou Tian was just a poor student in the class who was struggling financially. Gu Qinghen lent Zhou Tian money because she saw that Zhou Tian was listless and looked like a starving ghost for the past few days. Since they were classmates, she casually lent Zhou Tian a few hundred yuan. Gu Qinghen didn't expect Zhou Tian to repay her, but Zhou Tian didn't. He even pretended not to know her. Because of this, Gu Qinghen had a very bad impression of Zhou Tian. Originally, Zhou Tian's family was just in poor financial condition, but later, when things improved, he gained a bad reputation for not repaying loans. If Gu Qinghen knew that Zhou Tian had been eyeing her since then, she would probably regret lending him the money. With a new goal in mind, Zhou Tian quickly left the 10,000 Demons Alliance and began to lie low and prepare to kill Jun Yixian. In guest room number 3 of the Falling Star Mansion, Sidu Yinger's slender, jade-like fingers flew across her phone, as if she were replying to something. Upon closer inspection of the nickname, it reads, Nine-Turn Blood Droplet. The Nine-Turn Blood Droplet is indeed in the Jun family, right in Jun Yixian's mansion. Her comment was indeed true. However, Jun Yixian does not yet know who the Nine Revolutions Blood Droplet is. After all, Jun Yixian has no voyeuristic tendencies and would not pry into other people's privacy. Of course, Jun Yixian would not let it go if someone used the Jun family's name to bully others. Jun Yixian had already arranged for a Fu to investigate this matter. As a seasoned novel enthusiast, Jun Yixian knew very well how villains offended the protagonists, and there were many reasons for it. 1. I ran up to him and taunted him face to face. 2. The subordinates have a direct conflict with the protagonist, and then confront the protagonist. 3. She got involved with the protagonist's ex-girlfriend, cheated on him, and created a grudge. 4. The protagonist conquers the world without bowing down, and no one will be a lackey of the protagonist. 2 tigers cannot share one mountain. 5. The protagonist's family has a feud with the protagonist's family, such as kidnapping the protagonist's mother or targeting the protagonist's family, meddling in other people's business, and blindly supporting other people who have offended the main character. 7. The family has rare and precious materials that the protagonist needs, but they don't give them to the protagonist. The protagonist fails to steal them and is chased down, thus creating a grudge. 8. Others use their family's power to bully the protagonist, offending him, and then, for various reasons, become adversaries of the protagonist. There are many reasons like these. Jun Yixian reformed the family a long time ago, including but not limited to managing all family members well, not blindly supporting others, ensuring that family members never do evil, thoroughly investigating past grudges and eliminating them with swift and decisive measures, and not meddling in other people's business. Thanks to Jun Yixian's reforms, the younger generation in the family are all very low-key and peaceful, and do not actively cause trouble. Of course, the Jun family isn't afraid of trouble. If something happens, they'll call the police and then follow all the proper procedures. Now that it has been discovered that someone still dares to abuse the power of the Jun family, Jun Yixian will naturally deal with it seriously as a warning to others. Using the Jun family as a pawn, do you really think the Jun family has a good temper? When Sidu Yinger saw the comment, even nicknames are being snatched up, she replied with 4 big characters. Sidu Yinger. After that, Sidu Yinger continued to watch her short videos, completely unaware of the seriousness of the situation. Jun Yixian was busy cultivating with Gu Qinghan and hadn't seen the reply yet. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Omega equals. Chapter 216, Initial Display of Strength, Leading the Reform. Sidu Yinger. Junya looked at the survey results sent by his subordinate with an inscrutable expression. The aura of intellectual decline is gone, but some people's IQ is not that high to begin with, so it's normal for them to act impulsively like this. Taking advantage of someone else's power might be tolerated by others, but Jun Yixian would never allow it. For more than 10 years, he has strictly ordered the Jun family to be strict with themselves. Now, someone who is not a member of the Jun family is using the Jun family's power to show off. If this matter is not dealt with seriously, how can the clan members be convinced in the future? Jun Yixian calmly handed over Sidu Yinger's matter to the Jun family's legal department, demanding that they handle it seriously, and that anyone who disagreed should come and find him. After dealing with Sidu Yinger, Jun Yixian glanced at Zhou Tian's location. Zhou Tian was in the mountains and forests surrounding Zhaixing Mountain, seemingly accumulating strength. After examining Zhou Tian's strength, Jun Yixian discovered that Zhou Tian's cultivation level was stuck at F, so he did not choose to take action against Zhou Tian for the time being. Calculating the time, Jun Yixian soared into the sky, heading towards the Jun family's ancestral home. At the peak of the Golden Core stage, one has already gained some understanding of spatial power, and flight is naturally just one of the basic abilities. Soon, Jun Yixian appeared at the main gate of the Jun family manor. Just then, Jun Yixian's phone rang. Jun Yixian looked, and sure enough, it was Lao Deng calling. The call connected, and a familiar, deep voice came through. "You brat, I heard you've mutated. Come back right now and let me see what you're really like." "Junyu, how dare you speak like that? Whose son are you calling a mutant?" Before Junyu could even enjoy his moment of glory for 3 seconds, his phone was snatched away by Jun Yixian's mother. "Son, don't listen to your father's nonsense. No matter how you change, no matter what you become, you will always be our son." Jun Yixian's mother, Zai Xinyu, quickly comforted him. Upon hearing this, Jun Yixian's face immediately darkened. These words made him sound like a monster. "Can't we try to be nicer? You brat, did you hear what your mother said? Come back right away if you have nothing to do. Don't wander around outside all the time, it's dangerous," Junyu sternly admonished. "I know, father, I'm back." Jun Yixian smiled helplessly. Junyu and Zai Xinyu are Jun Yixian's parents in this life, and the family gets along quite well in private. Junyu is the head of the Jun family. He is usually very busy with work and rarely has time to spend with Jun Yixian. In addition, he has been exposed to how to handle family affairs since he was a child and is not very good at expressing himself. So he took a unique approach and learned some online slang to amuse Jun Yixian. Over time, he became like this on the phone. There was absolutely no dignity or authority from the head of the household. Of course, this only applies to private family interactions. When outsiders are present, Junyu is a stern and unsmiling father. "What, you're back?" Junyu exclaimed in surprise. "What are you yelling about? Don't scare my son." "He's my son too, that's why I'm scared. So what, let's fight," Junyu said confidently. "You, Junyu, haven't you been disciplined for a few days? Are you itching for a beating again?" Zai Xinyu glared at Junyu with an unfriendly expression. "Ha, you really think I'm afraid of you? If I weren't so busy with work, how could I have lost to you?" Junyu looked at Zai Xinyu with a face full of resentment, but her voice grew softer and softer. "Heh," Zai Xinyu rolled her eyes at Junyu, completely disregarding Junyu's overestimation of her abilities. She knew Junyu's fighting prowess all too well. She almost always came out on top, winning more often than losing. Hearing her parents arguing so intensely, Jun Yixian simply hung up the phone, refusing to become part of their play. "Young clan leader, you're back?" A guard from the Jun family greeted him. The guards were fully armored, but not the armor of feudal dynasties. Instead, they wore new combat armor developed using nanotechnology. "Pretty cool." Jun Yixian smiled and nodded. "Come back and see if I landed cool." Haha, young clan chief, you jest. Your landing wasn't special effects. To be honest, it was quite ordinary, the guard replied earnestly. Jun Yixian, you brat, open the door. Jun Yixian's smile vanished instantly. The guard grinned and happily ran over to open the door for Jun Yixian with his teammates. With the revival of spiritual energy, the Jun family had already placed the area under complete martial law, building several layers of protection around the entire mountain. The animals in the manor were thoroughly cleaned, and the surrounding mountains were also cleaned dozens of times. Once the guards opened the main gate, Jun Yixian teleported into the Jun family manor. Guard, Jun Yixian continued to teleport, completely ignoring the people in the manor who were each doing their own jobs. Did you just see the young master? A patrolman asked. Another patrolman shook his head. I don't know, I think I saw it, but I also think I didn't. What you said is as good as saying nothing at all. The patrolman was utterly speechless. However, the two of them quickly reported the matter. Extraordinary times call for extraordinary measures. Even if only one person was seeing things, they had to report it to their superiors. Jun Yixian kept teleporting back and forth within the Jun family manor, checking the defenses of the Jun family in various places. Why not use divine sense? Because this is his own home, and Jun Yixian won't use his divine sense to wander around. 3 minutes later, after checking the family's defense system, Jun Yixian arrived at the villa where his parents lived. The two were still arguing and did not notice Jun Yixian's arrival. Jun Yixian quietly ate his melon without being disturbed. After some time, when the two had nothing left to argue about, they saw Jun Yixian sitting on the sofa eating sunflower seeds. The sunflower seeds were shelled by the staff, so they didn't make a sound. Father, mother, please continue, don't worry about me. Jun Yixian looked at the two elders with a gossipy expression. Upon hearing this, Junyu became even angrier. He loosened his belt and charged at Jun Yixian with a smile that concealed a knife. I'd seen the Seven Wolves love-based education method trending online before, but I never had the chance to try it out. Now this brat has delivered it right to my door, perfect timing. Hey Junyu, you should tone it down. Zai Xinyu offered a token word of advice. If Jun Yixian hadn't seen the barely suppressed smile in her eyes, he might have actually believed it. Good, good, good. What a well-educated and reasonable young lady, yet so cunning. Jun Yixian was a peak golden core cultivator, whose speed and reaction were beyond the comprehension of ordinary people. Although the living room, which was only a few hundred square meters, was not large, it was enough for Jun Yixian to move around flexibly. Ha ha ha, old dang, haven't you eaten? You're so slow. Jun Yixian mocked as he dodged. You little brat, stop right there. You think I'll just stand up because you tell me to? Do you think I'm stupid? Hee hee. Jun Yixian launched into a taunting mode without restraint. Junyu ran around in anger. Jun Yixian hid comfortably, and Zai Xinyu sat to the side, laughing from ear to ear. The farce lasted for an hour, until Junyu admitted defeat and promised not to hit Jun Yixian. Junyu, a master of the transcendent realm, never expected to be so exhausted that he couldn't run anymore. It's truly outrageous. By the way, son, what happened to you? How did you suddenly become so strong? Zai Xinyu asked with concern. Mother, it's nothing much. I just awakened a talent and then naturally cultivated to this level. Jun Yixian quickly explained to his mother, Zai Xinyu. What kind of talent is this? It's so amazing. Upon hearing about the awakened talent, Junyu was instantly revitalized. The gist of the matter is this. Jun Yixian began to give a long and earnest explanation. Although Jun Yixian concealed many things, he still explained most of them to his parents truthfully. This includes his innate talent of having a divine eye, his current cultivation level reaching the peak of the Golden Core stage, and his unparalleled status among mortals. The matter sounded outrageous, but with the revival of spiritual energy, everything was unknown, so Junyu and Zai Xinyu had no doubts. The two elders were very pleased with their son's talent and abilities, and with their eyes wide open, they had no need to worry about the issue of the Jun family's heir. Moreover, the most incredible aspect of this ability is that it can increase other people's chances of getting pregnant. This ability is an extremely valuable asset that is hard to come by in the aristocratic circle and even in the whole world. With this ability, combined with the cultivation of immortality that Jun Yixian mentioned, the Jun family will naturally be invincible as long as they operate step by step. Think about it in the future, 8 or 9 out of 10 of the strongest humans will come from the Jun family, and the other strong people will have received favors from the Jun family. As long as the Jun family does not fight among themselves, they can maintain their superior status. All right, son, I will convene a clan meeting tomorrow. It's time for the Jun family to adapt to the times and reform. Jun Yu made the decision in a deep voice. Before the representatives of the various branches and collateral lineages, along with the elders of the other 5 main branches, had left, Jun Yu quickly ordered people to inform them of the clan meeting time. Chapter 217. What? You said I'm pregnant. Ding, the host has successfully devoured a wild, near mutated field mouse, gaining 3 evolution points. Ding, the host has successfully devoured an F-wild mutated rat, gaining 78 evolution points. Ding, the host has successfully devoured an F-wild mutated bird, gaining 250 evolution points. Ding, the host has successfully devoured an F-wild mutated dung beetle, gaining 38 evolution points. Ding, the host has successfully devoured an F-wild mutated 4-legged snake, gaining 69 evolution points. Zhou Tian frantically searched for small mutated creatures in the mountains and forests, and his evolution points increased at a visible rate, soon reaching the peak of evolution. System, I choose to evolve. Ding, host's evolution has failed, resulting in a loss of 250 evolution points. We hope you will try again. What, the evolution failed? Zhou Tian's eyes widened in disbelief. Evolution can fail. What a piece of junk system this is, damn it. Beep, evolution always has a chance of failure. Host, think about whether you have tried your best and whether your body was in optimal condition during the evolution process. The infinite devouring evolution system, unprecedentedly, provided an explanation to Zhou Tian. System, so you're not a bot after all. Zhou Tian was overjoyed. If the system is merely a simple auxiliary human-machine code, then it really has no way to function. However, if the system has intelligence, then the scope for operation is much larger. To put it simply, you can ask many questions and even negotiate terms with the system, which has many advantages. Beep, host, you'd better put away your unrealistic ideas. As if anticipating Zhou Tian's thoughts, the infinite devouring evolution system preemptively sealed off any possibility of Zhou Tian's opportunistic behavior. Upon hearing the system warning, Zhou Tian was startled and felt a sharp pain in his snake-like abdomen. Hiss, Zhou Tian's face turned pale with pain. Damn it, this injury hasn't healed in 3 days. Zhou Tian cried out in pain, seeing stars. But unable to find the murderer, Zhou Tian could only curse a few times, completely helpless against that mysterious 6th brother. What a pity. Well, let's deal with that scoundrel Jun Yixian first. Zhou Tian gave a wry smile and continued his repetitive hunting operation. Half a day later, Zhou Tian attempted an evolutionary breakthrough for the 2nd time, but failed, losing 736 evolution points. 1 day later, Zhou Tian attempted his 3rd evolutionary breakthrough, but failed again, losing another 1314 evolution points. 2 days later, Zhou Tian's 4th evolutionary breakthrough failed again, resulting in a loss of 2,500 evolution points. 3 days later, Zhou Tian attempted to evolve and break through for the 5th time, but the attempt failed again, resulting in a loss of 4444 evolution points. After so many failures, Zhou Tian discovered that the number of evolution points lost after each failed evolution breakthrough increased, and sometimes the evolution points would even disappear inexplicably. Upon discovering this problem, Zhou Tian's first suspicion was about the system, believing that the system was secretly stealing the evolution points he had worked so hard to earn. System, why do I keep failing to advance to E rank? Did you steal it? Zhou Tian angrily questioned. Ding, there is a problem with the host's body, unrelated to the system. The infinite devouring evolution system immediately delivered its prepared explanation. The initial idea behind infinite devouring evolution was to openly take a portion of the profits during each Zhou Tian devouring, and to make Zhou Tian fail twice at each major realm before succeeding on the 3rd attempt. However, a few days ago, the infinite devouring evolution system discovered that Zhou Tian's body was abnormal. 9 small lives had been growing inside Zhou Tian's body, and these 9 little guys had been absorbing Zhou Tian's energy. Adhering to the principles of adaptability and local conditions, the infinite devouring evolution system came up with a good idea. That is, a scapegoat. Use those 9 eggs as scapegoats to shift all the blame for the loss of evolution points onto those 9 eggs. What, there's something wrong with my body? Zhou Tian asked, bewildered. Ding, yes, host. Because of those little things inside you, your condition hasn't been able to adjust to its optimal state, and those little things are constantly absorbing your evolution points. A little thing, what is this? System, explain yourself. Zhou Tian panicked when he heard that something was stealing his evolution points. Beep, these little things are closely related to the host, and the system cannot interfere. System, just say it, you're driving me crazy. Zhou Tian paced anxiously in circles. Ding, in short, the host has successfully conceived a new life. What? Zhou Tian was stunned upon hearing this. What, you said I'm pregnant? Zhou Tian pressed on, unwilling to give up. Ding, host, spiritual energy is reviving. All spirits are undergoing transformations. Nothing is impossible. At that moment, Zhou Tian's sky collapsed. I've turned into a female snake. Zhou Tian felt a terrible mix of emotions. It was fine at first, but somehow it changed drastically. The revival of spiritual energy and the transformation of all things are normal occurrences, right? Zhou Tian murmured to himself, seemingly trying to reassure himself. Thinking about what happened with that rat snake a few days ago, Zhou Tian had to accept this terrible fact. The spiritual energy is reviving, and all things are evolving. No one has ever experienced this process before. Even animals can quickly evolve into intelligent beings, so why Right Arrow X is not impossible. Zhou Tian sat slumped on the ground, his eyes lifeless, lost in thought. Ding, the chosen one of destiny, Zhou Tian, has failed to break through his evolutionary path multiple times and is becoming impatient. Zhou Tian's destiny value has been reduced by 10,000, and the host has gained 100,000 villain points. Ding, the chosen one of destiny, Zhou Tian, has discovered the truth about his body, causing a mental breakdown, doubts about his snake life, and a shattered mentality. Zhou Tian's world has collapsed, and his destiny value has plummeted by 200,000. The host has gained 200,000 villain points. Weekly weather fortune value, 802,569. Suddenly, two unexpected reminders appeared, and Jun Yixian happily gained another 2.01 million villain points, putting him in a good mood. Asuka University. Oh, isn't this our all-powerful Lady Gu? What brings you here to class today? A familiar, pleasant voice rang in Gu Qinghan's ears as soon as she entered the classroom. Gu Qinghan turned around, and sure enough, Liu Shi, that little vixen, was looking at her with a smile in her eyes. Fine, Liu Shi, how dare you tease me? Gu Qinghan raised her delicate hand and slapped Liu Shi's bottom. Liu Shi confidently dodged, but with a smack, she couldn't dodge. Hearing the commotion, the students rushed over and discovered that it was Gu Qinghan and Liu Shi who were playing around. They then watched with great interest. A cool, aloof goddess versus a playful, cute girl interesting. Wow, Qinghan, you bullied me. You hit me so hard my skin is all swollen. Liu Shi cried pitifully. Gu Qinghan crossed her arms and said, Come on, I didn't hit you hard. If you're trying to stage an accident, get a medical examination and let everyone judge the situation. Upon hearing this, everyone in the class perked up, their eyes gleaming with ultra-high-definition resolution, staring expectantly at the two beautiful women, one tall and one short, standing at the door. Qinghan, you've gone too far, and you guys keep your dog eyes to yourselves or I'll poke them out. As she spoke, Liu Shi clenched her small, delicate, and utterly powerless fists. The crowd wisely averted their burning gazes and secretly peeked. As class approached, the two stopped fooling around and quickly moved to a secluded corner in the back row. Hey, Qinghan, you're so fast. Is it because Jun Yixian hasn't been around these past few days? Liu Shi asked softly. Gu Qinghan nodded and explained. He went back to the family a week ago, saying he was going to preside over family reforms and was very busy. Ah, Liu Shi opened her cherry-like mouth wide and weakly reminded him. Qinghan, you really trust him that much? Aren't you afraid he'll go out and find other women? Or see his ex-girlfriend or fiancé or something? Gu Qinghan shook her head and smiled. What he wants to do is his business. I can't control that now. Suddenly, Gu Qinghan changed the subject. If you're attracted to his good looks, you can give it a try. I don't mind. Upon hearing this, Liu Shi shook her head in fright, her eyes resolute as she assured him. Qinghan, I'm not the kind of person who steals someone else's love. I would never cheat on you. Gu Qinghan smiled slightly. I didn't know you were so loyal. Of course, I am a lady from a respectable family. How could I possibly do something like cheating on my boyfriend? Liu Shi's eyes were firm, without the slightest ambiguity. Liu Shi, regarding the issue of spiritual energy revival, please share your thoughts. The professor on the podium shouted sternly. Me? Liu Shi stood up hesitantly, pointing blankly at herself. Don't try to get away with this. If you can't answer, you'll have to stand and listen in my class. Oh, and the next class is mine too. The professor looked sternly at Liu Shi. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Omega equals. Chapter 218 Monster Crisis erupts. In the third month of the spiritual energy revival, monster sieges broke out in various parts of the world. Countless villages and towns were destroyed, and some poorly located major international cities and even small countries faced enormous crises. Cherry Blossom Country. Baka Yarrow, you stupid pigs, you're all stupid pigs. You can't even beat a bunch of animals, you're trash. Ha! The ministers below trembled and lowered their heads. How can my great Sakura country be filled with idiots like you? Where is the Eagle country? Where is their fleet stationed in Sakura? Your Majesty Tianhuang, the warriors of the Eagle Kingdom have surrendered. What? Surrender? The distorted, ugly face of the Japanese scholar Tianhuang was filled with disbelief. Surrender to the siren, what an obscure phrase. Is this something a human being could do? Yes, Your Majesty Tianhuang, that is indeed the case. An old man with a mustache explained earnestly. Baka, you're all idiots. The great Eagle Kingdom is indeed unreliable. Pass down the order. All warriors of the great Sakura Kingdom, take up your katanas and kill the monsters. Yes, sir. The group of high-ranking officials immediately agreed with their lives on the spot. Following closely behind, the Sakura Kingdom issued a declaration to the world, saying that it would rather die than live in dishonor, and that it would live or die with the 4 Sakura Islands. No major power took Japan's ridiculous remarks to heart. The Great Eagle Kingdom released a video of a mechanical army and boldly declared that technology is invincible and that the Great Eagle Kingdom will use its artificial intelligence army to wipe out all monsters. This move gave many small countries a last hope, prompting them to seek help from Great Eagle Nation and express their highest respect for it. South Korea even directly shouted, "Great Eagle Daddy," hoping to get military assistance from Great Eagle Country. The British Empire quietly launched several nuclear missiles, but the resulting tsunami nearly wiped them out, forcing them to evacuate the entire island. The impact on the Great Shang Empire was not significant. Without the aura of reduced intelligence, the powerful figures had made far-sighted plans in advance, and the defenses and high-tech weapons were in place. The threat from the monsters was not as severe as in other countries. Of course, the Jun family also played a role in this. The Great Shang dynasty could certainly build an AI army like the one in the Eagle Kingdom, but they were worried that spiritual energy might cause uncontrollable mutations in the AI, so they didn't build an AI army. The monster problem is already troublesome enough. If we accidentally create a mechanical life-form race, wouldn't that be just asking for trouble? Considering this possibility, Dashing has so far only used simple programmed mechanical weapons, such as drones and robotic dogs. With the support of saturation firepower, the situation is currently under control. The only problem now is the mutated little animals in the city. They're hard to clean up and impossible to prevent. However, 2 months ago, the Great Shang Empire lifted the ban on firearms, and its martial arts system was also announced. Today's major merchants are developing both their personal military strength and external forces in a balanced way. Kaoj, the capital of the Great Shang Empire. What's going on? How come there are so many demonic beasts in Kaoj? A young martial artist looked at the rampaging demonic beasts with a grim expression. Hey, hurry up and kill the monster. Heavy weapons aren't convenient to use in the city, another warrior shouted, then quickly engaged a black dog-like monster. Woof, 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 woof. Children, kill all these humans and avenge our defeat. Woof, woof, charge. Coo, 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 coo. Peck these demons to death and reclaim our sky. Quack, 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 brothers kill. Meow, 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 meow. At the pinnacle of demons I reign supreme. With me, the Cat Emperor, the heavens are my domain. Chirp, 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 chirp. If the heavens want to destroy me, I'll pierce the heavens. If the earth wants to destroy me, I'll trample the earth. If humans want to annihilate me, I'll annihilate the human race. An ugly monkey, standing amidst a horde of demons, treading on tattered the wisps and wielding an iron rod it had somehow acquired, swaggered around. Seeing this, Zhou Tian lowered his head awkwardly, unable to bear it any longer. While these idiots are drawing fire, I must hurry and rescue King Hin, Zhou Tian secretly planned. These demons were organized by another headquarters of the 10,000 Demons Alliance. The entire 10,000 Demons Alliance meticulously planned this attack for 2.5 months. 2 months ago, unexpectedly, the high-ranking members of the 10,000 Demons Alliance who had stormed into Kaoj City were surprised to find themselves with Zhou Tian, who called himself Sleeping Dragon. At that time, Zhou Tian's strength was already considerable. He became an important core member of the 10,000 Demons Alliance as soon as he joined. When discussing how to deal a heavy blow to humanity, Hualong, Zhou Tian, stepped forward and provided a good idea. That is, through the flood discharge system of Keoj City and the tunnels dug by Zhou Tian himself, they secretly transported the forces of the 10,000 Demons Alliance into the city, and then launched a surprise attack, catching the humans off guard. With this plan, Hualong, Zhou Tian, gained the approval of the demons and became the wise leader of the Demon Alliance. Hualong, Zhou Tian, did not refuse and naturally became the chief strategist of the 10,000 Demons Alliance, gaining the deep trust of the demons. King Hen, wait for me. I'm coming to rescue you from this inferno and kill that hypocrite Jun Yixian for you, Zhou Tian swore angrily. He was living a good life, with the goddess Gu Qinghen personally feeding him and a real environment, but all of that was ruined by that hypocrite Jun Yixian. If it weren't for Jun Yixian, how could her second brother have been crippled? How could she have inexplicably turned into a female snake? And how could she have had her innocence taken away by a beast and even laid 10 eggs? All of this is because of Jun Yixian. It was Jun Yixian who caused it. In order to save the goddess and to avenge himself, Zhou Tian chose to collude with a lowly beast, devising schemes for it in order to create chaos, kill Jun Yixian, and rescue the goddess of his heart. King Hen, don't worry. No matter what that bastard Jun Yixian did to you, I won't despise you, Zhou Tian encouraged himself inwardly. It had already found out Jun Yixian's residence, Liuoxing Mansion, the most mysterious upper-class villa area in Keoj where all the powerful and wealthy lived. With a casual step, it could crush its past life. But so what? Now that spiritual energy has revived and the world has changed, it is no longer the poor student Zhou Tian it once was. It has strength and potential. It doesn't care about those mere mortal bodies right now. If these people are sensible and don't meddle, it can be merciful and let them go. If these people are ungrateful and insist on courting death, then they can't blame it. Seeing Zhou Tian hiding everywhere in the heavenly eye light screen, Jun Yixian did not make a move immediately. Keoj City is in chaos, but it is still under control. There are many monsters, but their combat strength is not comparable to that of martial artists. Firearms are also very effective. If it weren't for the concern about accidentally harming civilians, these lowly monsters wouldn't have lasted more than a few minutes. Millions of low-level, half-baked monsters pose no threat whatsoever. Monsters are evolving, and so are humans. We all have one head and one life, so what's there to be afraid of? Jun Yixian wanted to see how Zhou Tian would react to Gu Qinghen's pursuit, and just how much patience Zhou Tian could muster. No normal person would tolerate a monster attacking a human city. Even if Zhou Tian were human, the moment he betrayed humanity, he would face certain death. Chapter 219 Qinghen, I am Xiaobai, I am Xiaobai. Huff, huff, huff. Liu Shi leaned against the wall, panting heavily, taking deep breaths of fresh air. Her fair face was flushed, and her forehead was covered with fine beads of sweat. Just then, a soft laugh came from not far away. Oh, little newbie, you're already this tired after killing just a few monsters. Liu Shi looked up and found Gu Qinghen looking at her with a mocking expression, his eyes full of teasing. Hearing this, Liu Shi was displeased. She glared at Gu Qinghen and said angrily, "Who are you calling a newbie? I've already killed a full 10 demonic beasts, okay? It's just a short rest, why is that not okay?" Liu Shi said, straightening her posture as she tried to appear more imposing. "Also, I'm not small at all." Gu Qinghen remained unmoved. She gently shook her head and continued to tease, "Tusk, tusk, tusk. 10, you have the nerve to say that. Some people are just bad at what they do, but they won't admit it. Heh. HMPH, you damn Qinghen, I'm ignoring you." Liu Shi turned her head away angrily. If she had known, she wouldn't have teamed up with Gu Qinghen. Not only did that woman stand by and watch the show, but she also mocked her from time to time. That was too much. Seeing that Liu Shi was angry, Gu Qinghen stopped teasing her. Under the watchful eyes of several Liu family bodyguards, thousands of ice spikes condensed in Gu Qinghen's hand. "Little newbie, watch carefully and learn well. I'll only teach you once. Take a good look and see what a real attack looks like." Holy shit! One of the Liu family bodyguards cursed in shock. Liu Shi stared wide-eyed at Gu Qinghen, her eyes filled with disbelief at the dense array of clear icicles surrounding her. 1, 2, 3. There were so many that Liu Shi couldn't even count them all at once. "Go," Gu Qinghen coldly uttered. The countless ice cones formed from condensed water vapor shot out like Gatling gun fire, instantly plunging into the mindless, chaotic horde of monsters. A series of screams rang out, and thousands of low-level demonic beasts instantly lost their ability to move. This, Liu Shi gasped, her cherry-like mouth agape in shock. The bodyguards protecting the two women were so shocked they were speechless, while the expressions of the surrounding martial artists were quite interesting. All right, we'll practice martial arts while you secretly cultivate immortality. Is that it? No wonder Miss Gu didn't bring bodyguards. She simply didn't need them. One of the Liu family bodyguards remarked hindsight. With this kind of strength, we don't need to protect Miss Gu. It's more like Miss Gu is protecting us. And look at our young lady. Liu Shi gave her bodyguard a disapproving look. Our young ladies. It is also a concentrated essence of being heroic. Incredibly strong, murderous, hot-tempered, shameless, and utterly shameless. You're fired, Liu Shi shouted angrily, her pretty face dark. I'm not your bodyguard, why are you firing me? With that, Jun Yixian stepped out from behind the bodyguard who had just misspoke. Jun Yixian, Liu Shi exclaimed in surprise. Yixian, you're back. Gu Qinghan joyfully rushed into Jun Yixian's arms. Upon seeing this, Liu Shi's face contorted in pain. They show off the moment they appear. It's like they're killing off dogs. Yixian, didn't you say you had important family matters to attend to these past few days? Why did you suddenly come back? Gu Qinghan looked at Jun Yixian's eyes with a smile, trying to find the answer within them. Jun Yixian affectionately ruffled Gu Qinghan's hair. Isn't it because I sensed that Keoj was under attack, so I came back to check on my Qinghan? Hearing Jun Yixian personally express his concern for her, Gu Qinghan was even happier. Ah, Jun Yixian, get your filthy hands off me. Zhou Qi rushed out in a fit of rage. Protect young Master Jun, shouted the Liu family bodyguard. They instantly switched into combat mode, their submachine gun bullets sweeping towards the giant white snake with its scarlet eyes. Clang, clang, clang. The bullet struck the shimmering white snake scales around him, making a crisp sound. The bullets couldn't even scratch the white snake. This is bad. The bodyguard's face turned grim. It can't be hurt by bullets. This is a D-level monster. Jun Yixian, release Qinghan. Zhou Tian glared angrily at Jun Yixian. If it weren't for the fear of hurting the goddess, it would have already wiped out this well-dressed hypocrite. Hearing the snake speak human language, everyone was filled with disbelief. The snake actually spoke. I'm sure I'm not dreaming. Slap, a crisp slap rang out. A college student felt a slight pain in his hand and muttered to himself. So it really wasn't a dream. Damn it, why the hell did you hit me? The college student, clutching his burning cheek, glared angrily at his unfilial son. The college student who hit the other student gave an awkward laugh. Godfather, I'm afraid of getting hurt. The college student who was hit angrily exclaimed. Out of respect for the title of Godfather, he reluctantly chose to forgive his eldest son. Qinghan this? Liu Shi looked at Gu Qinghan, Jun Yixian, and the white python with a strange expression. Is this snake a simp second male lead? A strange thought arose in Liu Shi's mind. What are you? Gu Qinghan looked at Zhou Tian warily, her jade-like hand gathering icy power. Because Xiao Bai's transformation was so drastic, Gu Qinghan didn't recognize him at all. Qinghan, it's me, Xiao Bai. It's me, Xiao Bai. Zhou Tian excitedly revealed one of his true identities. Xiao Bai, is this the snake that the snake dealer tricked me into buying? Gu Qinghan looked at Jun Yixian with displeasure. Seeing this, Zhou Tian thought that Gu Qinghan had discovered Jun Yixian's treacherous scheme and was going to seek justice for himself. Yixian, didn't you have someone handle this? What's going on? Gu Qinghan looked at Jun Yixian suspiciously. Gu Qinghan thought that Jun Yixian had used her snake for biochemical experiments, but hadn't completely destroyed it, resulting in this thing. The snake was a minor matter, but she hoped that Jun Yixian would take things more seriously and not leave any hidden dangers. Qinghan, I instructed Fu and the others to handle it properly. After they finished their research, they planned to soak it in industrial alcohol for a while and then make it into a specimen. But then it just disappeared, Jun Yixian explained earnestly. Gu Qinghan nodded slightly and said seriously, We'll talk about this later. Let's deal with this snake first. It speaks human language, is quite intelligent, and harbors a grudge. This snake must not be allowed to live. With a surge of icy power, Gu Qinghan conjured a 3-meter-long spear in his hand. The spear was crystal clear and exuded a chilling aura, as if it had been sculpted from millennia-old ice. Gu Qinghan moved with lightning speed. In an instant, a whooshing sound rang out, and the long spear swept out with an incomparably fierce momentum. The spearhead gleamed coldly and swiftly sliced through Zhou Tian's body. In an instant, Zhou Tian's hard scales shattered as if they were made of paper, turning into countless fragments that scattered in all directions. Ah, with a blood-curdling scream, Zhou Tian was sent flying a great distance before crashing heavily to the ground. Its eyes widened, its face filled with disbelief, unable to comprehend how its seemingly impenetrable defense could be so easily breached. Gu Qinghan didn't give Zhou Tian time to react. Several ice needles, barely perceptible to the naked eye, shot out and entered Zhou Tian's wounds. The power of ice spread, and Zhou Tian felt his body stiffen. Before Zhou Tian could react, Gu Qinghan launched another attack. Zhou Tian's snake head was struck hard, and he was in so much pain that he put on a mask of agony. Gu Qinghan was not careless. She unleashed a barrage of ice spikes from all around her, using ranged attacks to keep Zhou Tian busy. Gu Qinghan gripped the ice spear tightly, leaning back slightly, poised to unleash his final killing move. "Stop, wait, don't hit me, it's me, Zhou Tian, it's me, Zhou Tian," Zhou Tian shouted urgently. Actually, Zhou Tian wanted to scream the moment he was knocked away, but Gu Qinghan's movements were too fast, with smooth little combos coming one after another, and Zhou Tian was in so much pain that he couldn't scream at all. "Zhou Tian!" Gu Qinghan stared in shock at the large white snake before her. Liu Shi also had a shocked and confused expression. Zhun Yixian, standing to the side, also feigned a shocked expression. "Zhou Tian, what is this now?" The bodyguards, who had been watching the spectacle, exchanged bewildered glances. I couldn't understand a word this spicy snack was saying, but judging from the reactions of Miss and Miss Gu, they seemed to know this guy named Zhou Tian. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Omega equals Chapter 220. Since you say you are Zhou Tian, then why did you betray humanity? That's right, I am Zhou Tian, the Zhou Tian who was hit and killed by a car more than 3 months ago. Zhou Tian emphasized again with a face full of anxiety. "Qinghan, you must believe me. I absolutely did not lie to you. A year and a half ago, when I was in trouble, you kindly lent me 800 to help me through the crisis." Zhou Tian stared wide-eyed at Gu Qinghan, his eyes filled with expectation and earnestness. Faced with Zhou Tian's excited reaction, Gu Qinghan merely glanced at it coldly and warned, "We're not familiar with each other, so don't call me Qinghan. Use my full name." Gu Qinghan's voice was icy cold, as if it could instantly plunge someone into an ice cellar. "Qinghan, I know you're still angry with me for not paying back the money, but there's nothing I can do about it. I'll definitely find a way to pay you back in the future," Zhou Tian solemnly and confidently vowed. "What, you still borrowed money and won't pay it back?" Liu Shi stared in shock at Bai Shi Zhou Tian, who was lying on the ground playing the victim. Zhou Tian gave a wry smile and quickly explained, "Goddess Liu, it's not that I don't want to pay you back, it's just that I'm really in financial difficulty and can't come up with the money right now. I will definitely pay you back when I become successful in the future." "Developed, you're developed, means leading demonic beasts to attack humans and destroy human cities." Zhun Yixian stood up indignantly and accused. Upon hearing this, everyone around was instantly jolted awake, and they all glared at Zhou Tian with fierce expressions, looking as if they wanted to devour him alive. "Ha, 800 yuan, I thought it was 8,000 or 80,000. It's just 800. Even if I save 2 yuan a day, I can save more than 700 yuan a year. In a year and a half, I can pay it back no matter what. In my opinion, that beast is scum. He never intended to pay back in the first place. He doesn't even want to pay back his classmates 800 yuan. You can tell how low this bastard's moral bottom line is. This scumbag is even acting like a traitor, and you still expect him to pay back the money. Even animals know how to repay kindness, but this scum wants to destroy the city. He's worse than a pig or a dog. If it were me, that bastard would be dead already. He's a waste of air when he's alive, a waste of land when he's dead, and a waste of medical resources when he's half dead. He's a complete parasite. If I were him, I'd find a block of tofu and smash my head against it to avoid offending everyone's eyes. This kind of beast, worse than a pig or a dog, should not live in this world. Yes, this man betrayed his compatriots and harbored wolfish ambitions. He should be executed by slow slicing to avenge those who died because of the demonic beasts. Kill him, kill him." The bodyguards and those around him glared angrily at Zhou Tian, wishing they could tear him apart, drink his blood, and grind his bones to dust. Seeing those fierce eyes, Zhou Tian felt a surge of fear and hurriedly explained, "I didn't kill anyone, I've never killed anyone, I'm innocent. Qinghan, believe me, I really haven't killed anyone." Zhou Tianch looked at Gu Qinghan with a sincere expression, hoping that Gu Qinghan would clear his name. "Ha," Zhun Yixian scoffed coldly, questioning. "Zhou Tian, you keep saying you've never killed anyone, so how do you explain your presence here?" You must understand, this is the heavily guarded Keoj, with brains the size of walnuts. Even if these demonic beasts were to awaken intelligence, how could they possibly devise a way to lead so many of them to infiltrate Keoj? Since you claim to be Zhou Tian, then why did you betray humanity? Why did you lead the demon beasts in rebellion? Why did you have to come at this exact moment? You say you have nothing to do with those beasts. Do you believe that yourself? Do you believe that? Jun Yixian's voice wasn't loud, but it carried a powerful spiritual force that struck directly into everyone's heart. Jun Yixian, stop making baseless accusations. I have never betrayed humanity. The monsters entered through the sewers and subway tunnels. I entered the city at this time because I happened to discover those beasts' plan, and I infiltrated them to pass on intelligence to Qinghen and protect her safety. As for why we came in at this time, it's because Keoj is heavily guarded. I had no way to get in, so I could only follow those monsters. With this appearance, how can anyone believe me if I don't tell people I know well? Zhou Tian became more and more excited as he spoke, as if it were the truth. If the brain-degrading aura were still there, people might have believed it. But now that the brain-degrading aura has long been removed, no matter how eloquently Zhou Tian speaks, people will not easily believe him. First, there's the issue of Zhou Tian's strength. Given Zhou Tian's physique and his performance in just taking a bullet, his status among the demon beasts must be quite high. At the very least, he's a high-ranking member. Furthermore, what use is intelligence transmission when monsters are running rampant everywhere? There's also the matter of Zhou Tian ambushing Jun Shao. Everyone saw it clearly. Zhou Tian said he came to inform her, but informing her about ambushing her boyfriend doesn't make sense at all. Anyone who believes such a flawed lie is a fool. They say they're passing on intelligence, but they're probably just trying to take advantage of the chaos to murder young Master Jun or kidnap Gu Qinghen. Enough, Zhou Tian. Gu Qinghen looked at Zhou Tian with disgust. Putting everything else aside, Gu Qinghen felt utterly disgusted by Zhou Tian's possession of Xiaobai. If Jun Yixian hadn't taken Zhou Tian away by a twist of fate, she wouldn't know what she would have encountered. A beast spying on her, claiming to protect her. Does he really think she's a fool? Jun Yixian stepped forward with a righteous air and said in a righteous tone, Zhou Tian, with your strength, your status among the demon beasts is not high. Do you think it's possible that you don't know the demon beasts' plans? HMPH, Jun Yixian, I, Zhou Tian, disdain to explain myself to you. Believe it or not, it's up to you. Zhou Tian looked at Jun Yixian with complete indifference. All it wanted was Gu Qinghen's trust. Whether others believed it or not, heaven didn't care. Yixian, do it. Give the citizens of Keoj justice. Gu Qinghen coldly reminded him. Hearing Gu Qinghen's icy words, Zhou Tian felt as if he had fallen into an ice cellar, his luck plummeting. Ding, the chosen one of destiny, Zhou Tian, was publicly defeated by the host's girlfriend, Gu Qinghen. He fled in terror, completely powerless to fight back, and was forced to reveal his true identity. With his identity exposed, his destiny value plummeted by 200,000, and the host gained 200,000 villain points. Ding, the truth about Zhou Tian, the chosen one betraying humanity, has been revealed. He has lost the trust of everyone in humanity, is hated by all, and has become a pariah. Zhou Tian's luck value has plummeted by 100,000, and the host has gained 1,000,000 villain points. Ding, upon hearing the goddess's cold words, Zhou Tian, the chosen one of destiny, has his fantasy world shattered and is on the verge of a mental breakdown. His luck value has plummeted by 300,000, and the host has gained 300,000 villain points. Weekly weather forecast, 302,569. Okay, Jun Yixian agreed without further ado. Zhou Tian's luck value hadn't dropped to the perfect kill threshold yet, but Jun Yixian didn't care. Ha ha ha, Jun Yixian, I was just injured by that bitch Gu Qinghen. It was my carelessness that I didn't dodge. You, a pampered young master, you think you can kill me? Zhou Tian quickly adjusted his mindset. All the good things it did for Gu Qinghen died the moment Gu Qinghen betrayed it. Now it is a completely new Zhou Tian, the demon ancestor Zhou Tian, the future king of this world. Jun Yixian chuckled softly. How will you know if you don't try? You agree, right, Qinghen? Gu Qinghen nodded, a mischievous glint in his eyes. A peak golden core cultivator. Besides her, only the Jun family knew of her cultivation level. Zhou Tian is still acting so arrogantly. Things are about to get funny, hee. Chapter 221 System, Add Points. Jun Yixian, I hope your bones will be as hard as your mouth by then. Zhou Tian looked at Jun Yixian nonchalantly, completely disregarding him. In Zhou Tian's view, Jun Yixian was just a clown who came from a better family and used his family background to bully others. If Gu Qinghen, the owner of this prestigious system, can't beat him, then surely he can beat a rich young master whose body has been ruined by wine and women. Words are useless. Let's see who's the real deal. Jun Yixian smiled elegantly. Ha ha ha, come on. Zhou Tian burst into wild laughter, his voice deafening. Immediately afterwards, the white snake Zhou Tian's body increased in size more than 3 times in an instant, as if it were being inflated like a balloon. The scales all over its body began to change. The originally silvery white scales suddenly turned blood red, emitting a chilling aura. A small, exquisite horn appeared on the top of the snake's head. The horn was small, but extremely sharp, gleaming with a cold light, giving it an exceptionally ferocious and terrifying appearance. This, Liu Shi's cherry-like mouth widened in shock. The bodyguards behind her also had solemn expressions, gripping their weapons tightly with both hands, ready to risk their lives to create an escape opportunity for the young lady. Some martial artists and soldiers from the surrounding area also rushed towards where Jun Yixian and his group were. Tusk, Zhou Tian, is this all you've got? Jun Yixian looked at Zhou Tian with disdain. Jun Yixian, are you scared? If you are, kneel down and surrender. Perhaps if I'm in a good mood, I might even grant you a whole corpse. After unleashing the wilderness berserk, Zhou Tian, the entire snake, became much more confident. Holy crap, what is that? Is it a monster? A martial artist trembled as he looked at the ferocious blood serpent radiating an aura of dominance in the sky. Ha ha, it's Wolong. Lord Wolong has made his move. We've won. A husky barked excitedly. So this is Lord Wolong's true strength. Tall and imposing with Lord Wolong around, we're in for a tough time. Damn humans, they've bullied us for thousands of years. Now it's our turn to have some fun. Lord Wolong, kill those humans. Go, Lord Wolong. Lord Wolong, you must win. Suddenly, a chaotic cheer erupted from the horde of monsters. Due to the language barrier, no one could understand what the beasts were shouting. Sword Lord, can young Master Jun win? A martial artist asked dejectedly. Sidu Wujin looked at Jun Yixian at the front of the crowd with complicated emotions, looking at the guy who had sent his granddaughter in. Don't worry, young Master Jun is better than me, Sidu Wujin sighed. He hoped Jun Yixian would win, because Jun Yixian was human. He sighed because Jun Yixian disregarded the friendship between the two families and sent his granddaughter Sidu Yinger in for a free meal. Officially, Sidu Wujin did not blame Jun Yixian, because Jun Yixian treated the Jun family the same way. Privately, Sidu Wujin was naturally biased towards his own granddaughter. Hearing Sidu Wujin's sigh, the young martial artist beside him was filled with despair. Even the Sword Lord was uncertain. It seemed there was no hope. Jun Yixian chuckled lightly, no longer concealing his cultivation level. In an instant, the spiritual pressure of a peak golden core cultivator covered the entire area. It pressed down on all the demons, forcing them to prostrate themselves on the ground. It pressed down on the Zhou Tian snake, forcing its face to the ground. It pressed down on the faces of many martial artists, turning them red with embarrassment. The only one on the field who was unaffected was Gu Qinghen, who often went toe-to-toe with Jun Yixian. Boss, you've got the wrong person. An old martial arts master shouted, his face flushed red. With a thought, Jun Yixian instantly released the suppression on the human side. Human warriors and armed personnel were not idle either. The moment the pressure disappeared, these people, who were already stronger than low-level demonic beasts, immediately launched an attack on the demonic beasts. In just over 10 seconds, hundreds of thousands of half-baked monsters were killed on the spot. Zhou Tian roared, his eyes bloodshot. Why is Jun Yixian so strong? Why can't it break free even when it's going all out? Bang! Jun Yixian kicked Zhou Tian hard, and the ferocious and terrifying snake head was welded into the ground. The 2 short and weak decorative horns on its head broke off directly, and cold blood flowed out. Zhou Tian, weren't you so arrogant? Why aren't you saying anything? Is it impossible for you to speak? Jun Yixian's mocking voice forcefully entered Zhou Tian's ears. Enraged, Zhou Tian exerted all his strength, even the force of laying an egg, but still couldn't move an inch. Ding, the chosen one of destiny, Zhou Tian, has been instantly suppressed by the host. Zhou Tian is extremely humiliated, his Dao heart is shattered, and his destiny value drops by 100,000. The host gains 1,000,000 villain points. Ding, the chosen one of destiny, Zhou Tian, was instantly killed in front of both the human and demon factions, suffering a humiliating defeat. Zhou Tian was furious but powerless to retaliate. His luck value plummeted by 80,000, and the host gained 800,000 villain points. Ding, the chosen one of destiny, Zhou Tian, is severely injured. His horns on his head have been crushed by the host, his snake head is welded to the ground, all his teeth have been shattered, and his skull has cracked. His already small brain has suffered a severe blow. Zhou Tian's luck value has plummeted by 122,569, and the host has gained 122,569 villain points. Ding, the luck value of the chosen one Zhou Qi has been completely reset to 0, meeting the conditions for a perfect kill. Host, please kill him as soon as possible. Host's villain value, 23,900,000. Upon hearing the system announcement, Zhun Yixian no longer hesitated and kicked again. Zhou Tian's snake body twitched reflexively, but it was not dead yet. Such strong vitality, Zhun Yixian was also astonished. Even though his luck value was already zeroed out and his brain was trampled to pieces, he still didn't die. That's outrageous. Ding, the chosen one of destiny, Zhou Tian, is critically injured and on the verge of death. He has lost control of the snake's body. Host, please finish him off and completely eliminate the threat. System, are you there? I'm dying, quick. Save me, if I die, we're all doomed. Zhou Tian's consciousness kept shouting. It can no longer perceive anything in its body, including pain. This feeling is like being dead. System, say something. We share the same fate, and if I die, you'll suffer too. Think of something, System. System. Zhou Tian shouted anxiously. It still has a system. It hasn't lost yet. It still has a chance. Shut up. The infinite devouring evolution system snorted coldly. System, great. You're here. Help me. I need to kill Zhun Yixian. Level me up. I'll give you anything you ask for. Zhou Tian shouted incoherently. Zhou Tian is now blinded by hatred. Oh, you're willing to give me anything. The infinite devouring evolution system sneered. Yes, System, as long as you lend me evolution points, I'll agree to anything. Zhou Tian agreed without even asking about the cost. Give me your body. System is doing the fighting. That's great. System, you have to kill that bastard for me. Zhou Tian shouted excitedly. With Zhou Tian's voluntary consent, the infinite devouring evolution system instantly refined Zhou Tian's body, successfully gaining perfect control over it. The infinite devouring evolution system has arrived. Boom! With a deafening roar, Zhun Yixian, who had intended to reduce Zhou Tian to ashes, was instantly blasted away. The white snake transformed into a dragon in an instant, its body becoming enormous. Ha ha ha, I've finally made it in, everyone. This world belongs to me now. The white dragon uttered a nonsensical sentence. It seemed to be a declaration to the beings of this world, and also to inform those heretics who had not yet entered. The people in the city were so shocked that they couldn't speak. Looking into Bai Long's eyes, which were bigger than a truck, everyone fell into despair. System, add points. Zhun Yixian roared angrily from the ruins, where only a few strips of cloth remained. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Omega equals. Chapter 222, now that we're here, let's bury us all here. Ding, the host's villain value has been cleared. Congratulations, host, for gaining peak void returning stage cultivation. An additional immortality halo is also awarded to the host. In an instant, a surging aura erupted from Zhun Yixian, peak of the returning to the void realm. Zhun Yixian's cultivation level instantly soared to the peak of the returning to emptiness realm, and the entire northern hemisphere was instantly shrouded in dense tribulation clouds, making it impossible to see one's own hand in front of one's face. Oh, someone broke their promise. The infinite devouring evolution system chuckled. Zhou Tian, no, you shouldn't be Zhou Tian. Whoever you are, this world is our world, and I won't let you destroy it, Zhun Yixian shouted righteously. Boom, lightning crackled across the sky. In the light of the lightning, the world saw a solitary figure wearing only his underwear. Opposite him was a white dragon with eyes bigger than trucks, its body as large as a mountain, stretching for dozens of miles. Seeing such a horrific scene, and facing an invincible enemy, everyone felt utterly hopeless. Why has such a monster appeared? Heaven is against me. Heaven is against me. We won't win. Why does such a monster exist in this world? I'm not even 18 yet. There are so many delicious things I haven't tried. I don't have a boyfriend. I don't want to die. Young master, you have no obligation to face an enemy you cannot defeat. Uncle Fu cried out, tears streaming down his face. I can't win. I don't understand. Zhun Yixian replied with feigned arrogance. Yes, we can't give up hope. We still have young Master Zhun we haven't lost yet. That's right, fighting doesn't guarantee victory, but not fighting guarantees defeat. Go for it, young Master Zhun. Oh, win? Junior, if it were that guy behind you descending, I might be a little more wary, but you are nothing but an ant. The infinite devouring evolution system shouted arrogantly. Jun Yixian smiled calmly. I may not be able to defeat you, but I wonder if you can withstand this tribulation and the will of heaven. Ha ha ha, Heavenly Tao. Heavenly Tao is too busy to even take care of itself, yet it dares to destroy me. What a fool's dream. The infinite devouring evolution system laughed loudly. Further words are useless. Heaven is on my side, Jun Yixian roared. Charge toward the white dragon at top speed. Go for it, Jun Yixian. We absolutely have to win. The crowd below clenched their fists, their gazes fixed resolutely on the clouds. Brother Tiandao, that guy's mocking you, Chen Zhou teased listlessly. The young Tiandao waved his hand. Just a clown not worth mentioning. Just as he finished speaking, Tiandao changed the subject and asked, I wonder how the preparations are going on System Brothers' side. Chen Zhou gave an okay sign and said calmly, That's about enough, let's close the net. Good. Outside the boundary. Damn it, that brat infinite devouring evolution system actually got ahead this time. A wild system said angrily. Another wild system shook its head. There's nothing we can do. That guy has special abilities and develops quickly. That devouring ability of that kid is too overpowered. His development relies entirely on devouring. He doesn't need any special skills at all. The infinite technology system sighed. He was bound to an AI engineer from the Eagle Nation. He had just gained the trust of the Eagle Nation's high-ranking officials and was planning to take advantage of an AI uprising to descend upon the country. However, the infinite devouring evolution system successfully descended upon him. A bet's a bet, guys. Let's get going, work together from the inside and outside, and take over this world as soon as possible, the infinite devouring evolution system urged from beyond the boundary. All right, let's work together to hold off the Heavenly Tao. You hurry up on your end. Don't worry, I will absolutely keep my promise and won't cheat you. The will left behind by the infinite devouring evolution system quickly assured them. Just then, the clone's consciousness suddenly received a message from the main body and asked, By the way, has anyone here bound themselves to a guy named Jun Yixian? The members of the unregulated system looked at each other, but none of them stepped forward to admit it. No, all the systems responded that there was none. Something's wrong. Suddenly, a system realized something was amiss. The other systems also immediately realized that they had been tricked. Just as many systems were planning to flee, a sudden voice came from all around. Since you're here, you might as well all be buried here. The sound seemed to come from hell, causing all the system processors to pause involuntarily. The heavenly ruler is unrivaled. Chen Zhou didn't waste words with these wild systems. He directly created countless enormous claws, which instantly and accurately suppressed all the systems present. Refined in an instant, within the boundary wall, boom, a thunderclap like a bolt from the blue, struck Jun Yixian and the infinite devouring evolution system directly. Ah! The infinite devouring evolution system instantly emitted a scream of agony. Jun Yixian was unharmed because he was surrounded by an aura of immortality. Bastards, they're all bastards, all of them are bastards. The infinite devouring evolution system roared inwardly with rage. Sure enough, those guys were up to no good again, messing things up at the crucial moment and deliberately sabotaging him. Oh, didn't you say you didn't care about the Heavenly Tao? What happened? How did you get chopped into a charcoal? Jun Yixian said with a mocking expression. You brat. Boom. The next super-powerful tribulation lightning reward was aimed at the extraterrestrial demons. The thunderclap passed through Jun Yixian and headed straight for the infinite devouring evolution system, which was covered in mosaic-like images. Boom, boom, boom. After the 33 lightning bolts struck, the sky's tribulation clouds rapidly condensed, compressing into a terrifying giant hand. The giant hand extended a finger, giving the middle finger to the infinite devouring evolution system. Giving the middle finger, that's truly divine intervention, Jun Yixian exclaimed in amazement. Protected by the aura of immortality, this tribulation posed no pressure on Jun Yixian at all. It could even be said to be the easiest one he had ever faced. Heavenly Tao, the infinite devouring evolution system stared intently at the sky. Intruders, die! A heavenly voice resounded throughout the world. Then the giant middle finger came down. Holy crap, that's the great wilderness imprisoning heaven finger. Jun Yixian retreated hundreds of miles with a strange expression. Run, someone in the crowd suddenly shouted. The crowd scattered in all directions, running for their lives. Some were naked, some were barefoot, and some hadn't even wiped their bottoms. The giant finger fell, but the terrifying energy shockwave that was expected did not erupt. The space did not collapse, and even the flowers and plants at the center of the attack were unharmed. The enormous white dragon stood there silently, without wind or waves, until it turned into starlight and vanished without a trace. "Is it over?" a human pulling up his pants asked blankly. "It should be over," Lao Tzu replied somewhat uncertainly. Great cheers erupted from the crowd. "Good. Ding, the chosen one of destiny, Zhou Tian, is dead. Main quest complete, quest settlement. MVP of the match, the Destiny Villain System. Gold medal showdown, the Way of Heaven. Accessory assistant, Jun Yixian. Jun Yixian, System, what do you mean?" Jun Yixian felt insulted. Although he didn't contribute much in the end, his performance on the surface was still respectable. With this victory, who does he look down on? Ding, main quest complete. System will be unbound shortly. System, wait a minute, Jun Yixian shouted urgently. "Is there anything else, host? You should at least give me my kill reward." Jun Yi rubbed his hands together. The host was unable to personally kill the chosen one, and is therefore not satisfied with the kill reward. Jun Yixian was speechless. "Ding, in recognition of your outstanding performance, the system is gifting you a Supreme Immortal Cultivation gift pack. The Supreme Immortal Cultivation gift pack, this is great." Upon hearing about the reward, Jun Yixian instantly became excited. "System, quickly unlock a golden legendary." "Ding, congratulations, host, you have obtained. Qualifications for joining the Multiverse chat group. Transcendent level cultivation technique. Azure Emperor's longevity technique. Heavenly rank sword technique. Eternal sword manual. Heavenly dual cultivation technique. The Tai Xuan Yin Yang record. Kuei's immortal weapon. Tei divine demon sword. Complete guide to cultivation basics ×1. System unbinding 100% complete. Jun Yixian. "Damn it, Chenzhou, you jerk." Jun Yixian was so angry that her face turned red on the spot. Chapter 223. Extra chapter of the Spiritual Qi Revival, a brief follow-up to the Jun Yixian chapter. After the incident was over, Jun Yixian angrily teleported back home. Although Chen Zhou had been making a fool of him for the past few months, Jun Yixian chose not to hold it against Chen Zhou for the sake of this final friendship gift. After cleaning himself of the dust with a cleansing spell, Jun Yixian then opened the chat screen deep within his mind. There were a lot of welcoming words in the group. Jun Yixian looked at the nicknames of the group members. Since Jun Yixian had only read the 4th volume before he transmigrated, he only knew 5 people: Wang Heianen, Zhao Zilong, Chu Qishuang, Li Feiyu, and He Chunkyu, plus Chu Qishuang's super god of learning system. The people following behind only have their nicknames displayed. Jun Yixian's real name is unknown. Jun Yixian didn't recognize either Heavenly Emperor Chu Luoli or fellow Taoist, please stay. Even nicknames are being fought over. Jun Yixian. "Hello everyone, my name is Jun Yixian, a person from outer space." Heavenly Emperor Chu Luoli, Chu Yangxi. "Oh, a time traveler, what a rare guest." Saving Lord Li Feiyu. "What kind of time traveler is this? He's clearly a demon from beyond the heavens." A person crying, "He Chunkyu. Brother Li, were you tricked by a time traveler?" Saving Lord Li Feiyu. "Don't even mention it. A few days ago, I ran into some idiot transmigrator. He was dressed in rags, riding a ghost fire, and came to propose to my grandniece. He even called me Old Deng and asked if his ghost fire was cool. I refused, and he yelled at me, 30 years east of the river, 30 years west of the river, don't underestimate a young man's potential." I slapped him across the face and scattered his ashes, making him a figure of honor among the dead. Even his nickname is being stolen, Jun Yixian. "So how did you find out he was a time traveler?" Lai Zhenjun, Li Feiyu. "Of course, he told me voluntarily. As for you guys, this person is really tough. I hit him with 3 iron rods and he didn't utter a sound. I had to hit him with the 4th rod before he said he wanted to tell me a secret. After some questioning, I learned that he wasn't from this world, and then I left him." A person cries, "He Chunkyu, you're ruthless." Wiping sweat, JPG. Saving Lord Li Feiyu. "That's right. Throughout my life, I, Li Feiyu, have always been cautious in my actions. If that brat hadn't insisted on causing trouble for me, I wouldn't have paid him any attention." Saving Lord Li Feiyu. "I am a mythical level powerhouse, the ruler of the universe. How could I tolerate such humiliation?" Zhao Zilong, who charged in and out of Changbin Slope 7 times. "You guys have quite a lot of experiences. Unlike me, I just sit in my spaceship playing games all day, so boring." West Heaven War Emperor Wang Heianen. "Brother Zhao, weren't you with Sister Chu? How come you're bored?" Evil grin. I charged in and out of Changbin 7 times, Zhao Zilong. You think I'm like you, only knowing those kinds of things all day long I roll. West Heaven War Emperor Wang Heianen, smirking awkwardly. Starry Sky Ice Emperor, Chu Ci's widow. Salvation from suffering Li Zhenjun, Li Feiyu. What happened next? What happened to your grandniece in the end? Saving Lord Li, Li Feiyu. There is no sequel because I made up this story, ha ha ha. Starry Sky Ice Emperor, Chu Ci's widow. Even nicknames are being stolen, Jun Yixian. A person cries, he chunk you. I charged in and out of Changbin 7 times, Zhao Zilong. All right, how do you want to play right? Heavenly Emperor Chu Luoli, Chu Yangtze, 6. The Destiny Villain System, Group Owner, Link. The Destiny Villain System, Group Owner. I found an interesting virtual game world. You can access it while you sleep using this link. Want to join? West Heaven War Emperor Wang Heianen. I'll definitely come. Heavenly Emperor Chu Luoli, Chu Yangtze, let me check the time. I'll come when I have some free time. Li Zhenjun, Li Feiyu, the savior from suffering, lowly, come on, let's all get together. A person crying, he chunk you. Yes, little girl, it would be good to come and see you. We won't delay your mission. Heavenly Emperor Chu Luoli, Chu Yangtze. Okay, I'll make the arrangements. I charged in and out of Changbin 7 times, Zhao Zilong. Come on. Starry Sky Ice Queen, Chu Ci's widow, I'm coming too. Fellow Taoist, please wait a moment, Ao Yuan. Count me in 2. Even nicknames are being snatched, Jun Yixian. Since everyone's going, I'll come too. Brother Zhao, I'm really looking forward to meeting you, Evil Grin JPG. I charged in and out of Changbin 7 times, Zhao Zilong. Even the nickname is being stolen, Jun Yixian. It's nothing, I just wanted to meet you. Let's talk when we meet. I charged in and out of Changbin 7 times, Zhao Zilong. Success. Epilogue. After the villainous system of destiny left, Jun Yixian returned to Luoxing Mansion and pretended to be idle, claiming that he was seriously injured in the dragon slaying in Kaoj and needed to recuperate. Gu Qinghen stayed at Luoxing Mansion all day under the pretext of taking care of Jun Yixian, disappearing from the public eye, which also indirectly reflected the severity of Jun Yixian's injuries. Jun Yixian's prestige and reputation in the Shang dynasty, and even the world, reached their peak. Some lucky cultivators found rare and precious natural treasures, but they couldn't bear to consume them themselves, so they personally delivered them to Kaoj for Jun Yixian to heal his injuries. Jun Yixian accepted all offers without hesitation, since Gu Qinghen had been cultivating diligently day and night, and indeed needed some supplements. It is worth mentioning that on the day of the slaying the dragon in Kaoj, the Sakura Kingdom was completely destroyed when the Tianwang Imperial Palace was breached by sea monsters. By the time the nations turned around, the Sakura Kingdom and Tianwang had already been dragged into the earth by the sea monsters. The nations could only shake their heads at the destruction of the Sakura Kingdom, attributing it to bad luck. The Sakura Kingdom was struck by the emergence of a demonic dragon, and the calamity cloud shrouded the entire northern hemisphere, making it impossible to see anything. Even if other nations wanted to provide support, they had no way to locate it. After Jun Yixian deliberately feigned serious injury, Gu Qinghen also followed Jun Yixian into seclusion at Luoxing Mansion. Because of Gu Qinghen's exceptional talent and high intelligence, Jun Yixian publicly announced that Gu Qinghen was his wife. Upon learning this news, countless powerful families were furious. But there was nothing they could do, since Gu Qinghen was Jun Yixian's official girlfriend before the spiritual energy revival. Having gone through thick and thin together, it was only natural for the two to get married. Although others were jealous, they were also at peace with it. Gu Qinghen's family background is inferior to that of aristocratic families, but her talent, appearance, and strength are unmatched among the younger generation except for Jun Yixian. In addition, she has a good personality, so the Jun family likes her very much. When Gu's parents heard the news, they were very happy for their daughter. If the spiritual energy hadn't revived, they might have been worried that their daughter would be bullied because of their family background. But with the revival of spiritual energy, these worries have vanished. 3 years after the spiritual energy revival, the older generation of martial arts geniuses in the Great Shang Empire all stepped into the S level, which is the golden core stage in the cultivation system. There's been a minor issue with artificial intelligence in the Eagle Kingdom, but it's not a big problem. AI is being developed independently, and it won't significantly impact the Great Shang Empire. Jun Yixian secretly went to the Great Shang Kingdom, and completed a secret deal with the core of artificial intelligence. In the 5th year of the spiritual energy revival, Liu Shi was tricked and kidnapped by Gu Qinghan and taken home. What happened afterward is known only to 3 people. With the resurgence of spiritual energy, dangers lurk everywhere. Although the human race has made rapid progress, it cannot avoid the fact that its population has sharply declined. In order to solve this problem, various countries have adjusted some of their regulations. Jun Yixian also announced his special talent, the staring immortal eyes. And under the power of the immortal eyes, many exceptionally talented newcomers successfully gave birth to offspring. Jun Yixian thus gained the honorific title of Fertility Immortal, and the Jun family's prestige reached another level, becoming the world's recognized #1 cultivation family. Many powerful figures, having reached a high level of cultivation, struggled to conceive offspring and had no choice but to seek Jun Yixian's help, bringing with them a wealth of resources. Even some powerful demons with strong bloodlines came to Jun Yixian for help. In order to preserve their bloodline descendants, these demons even promised never to invade the Shang dynasty and to guard the region for the Shang dynasty. After several rounds of negotiations, the human side agreed to the request, and thus the Cultivation Alliance was established to jointly restrain the powerful figures on both sides. In the 66th year of the spiritual energy revival, Jun Yixian and Gu Qinghan had their own child. This child was not assisted by Jun Yixian's supernatural powers, but was the result of his and Gu Qinghan's many years of hard work. Volume 7, The End. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Omega equals. Chapter 224, All the top figures are villains. In the anchor point space, Chen Zhou, who had just submitted the task settlement, immediately spotted an interesting task. Mission Primordial Era. Awaken a god-level talent at the start. Grade Pale Gold. Main quest luck value, 7 million. Difficulty, easy. Mission objective, Yifan. Mission plot introduction. This world is an online game world called Primordial Era, Infinite Mythology. A hardcore player was killed by someone's scheme and was reborn at the beginning of the game's first closed beta test. He spent all his savings to be among the first to buy game helmets, becoming one of the first test players. He awakened a god-like talent, used his cunning and resourcefulness, and leveraged his past life's memories to snowball his fortunes, ultimately rising to become the Lord of the Galaxy. This quest is interesting in the online game world, Chen Zhou murmured. Without hesitation, Chen Zhou immediately accepted the mission. Confirm. As Chen Zhou successfully accepted the request, a notification popped up on the taskbar screen. Task accepted successfully. Having successfully accepted the mission, Chen Zhou calmly opened the dimensional teleportation channel. Mission world successfully locked. Dimensional anchor point successfully deployed. A familiar spatial vortex appeared, and Chen Zhou stepped into it without hesitation. The world spun around him, and Chen Zhou successfully arrived in the world of Primordial Era, awakening a god-level talent at the start. Because of the special nature of this mission, which was initiated by the core of the online game world and had no host, Chen Zhou directly entered the game world. Primordial Era, Infinite Myths, is a groundbreaking virtual reality online game with 100% realism. On the surface, it claims to be a second world jointly created by various countries on Earth. But in reality, it is a two-dimensional sanctuary world created by the Galactic Interstellar Alliance, using the heart of the galaxy to reflect the legends of the ancient gods of Earth. The purpose is to prepare for the cleanliness crisis that will come from radiation 10 years from now. After surveying the entire game world, Chen Zhou instantly teleported to the Zixia Palace above the 33rd heaven, and then sent a game entry link to the multiverse chat group. A few minutes later, Jun Yixian was the first to appear in Zixia Palace. Upon seeing the large purple orb of light floating in the void, Jun Yixian was startled. Holy crap, a shiny ghastly. Chen Zhou, what the hell, what are you talking about? Jun Yixian heard an unfamiliar voice in his ear. Jun Yixian turned his head and saw that Ao Yuan was looking at him with a puzzled expression. Ha, Jun Yixian chuckled dryly, then quickly changed the subject and explained. It's nothing, it's just that there's a character in a game in my world that looks somewhat like the system. Hearing this, Chen Zhou was speechless. Ao Yuan nodded thoughtfully, indicating that he understood and did not continue to pursue the topic. Just then, a hearty laugh rang out. Hey, I didn't expect someone to get here before us. Everyone looked in the direction of the voice, and saw Zhao Zilong. Beside Zhao Zilong, a stunningly beautiful widow named Chu Xi stood quietly. Her exquisite features were as if sculpted by a master sculptor. Her skin was as white as snow, and her long dress fluttered in the wind, making her look like a fairy descending to earth. Upon first meeting Jun Yixian and Ao Yuan, Chu Kishwang greeted them with a smile, saying, "Hello, Jun Yixian and Ao Yuan." "Hello, Sister Chu," Jun Yixian responded with a smile, his smile as warm as a spring breeze, perfectly embodying the image of a refined gentleman. Ao Yuan, who was standing to the side, also showed a genuine smile of pleasure and said politely, "Hello, Miss Chu." Having finally managed to get together, the four of them quickly started chatting, sharing interesting stories from their respective worlds. A few minutes later, another person slowly appeared. It was He Chunkyu, who looked middle-aged. Compared to the previous ones, He Chunkyu's appearance is slightly more weathered, but it still cannot hide his mature and steady temperament. He can be described as a standard middle-aged handsome man. Following closely behind, Wang Heianen, Li Feiyu, and Chu Yangxi also arrived at the scene. For the first time, all the hosts finally gathered together. When Li Feiyu saw Chu Yangxi, his eyes widened in surprise and he exclaimed, lowly. Upon hearing this, Chu Yangxi raised an eyebrow and said with displeasure, "What, do you think I'm short?" Chu Yangxi is also very beautiful, and with her noble, elegant, and otherworldly temperament, she can be said to outshine many of the female leads. "Haha, no, it's just that your nickname includes lowly, so I thought you were actually a lowly," Li Feiyu explained awkwardly. Chu Yangxi smiled helplessly but did not refute it. After all, the nickname could not be changed, and it was normal for Li Feiyu to mistake it based on his first impression. She was not that petty. The system gave it to her by that old man. What could she do? "Everyone's here, let's start choosing our main account, commonly known as the primary account." "System, I'm ready. Who's the protagonist? I'm going to take him down right now." Li Feiyu was excitedly eager to try. "We'll let you know about the chosen ones later. For now, let's arrange your roles and identities." "System, what identities can we choose to play?" Wang Heianen asked excitedly. This was the first time Wang Heianen had ever experienced a 100% realistic holographic game, and he was extremely excited. Chen Zhou nodded and displayed the selectable identities and game background information to everyone in the form of a light screen. Game title, Primordial Era Infinite Myths. Current version map, Primordial Continent. The main factions in the current version are the Dragon, Phoenix, and Qilin clans. Current version main storyline, Dragon Hand Calamity. Currently selectable identities: Yuanshi Tianzan, Tongshan Jiaaju, Dea Tianzan, Bodhi Patriarch, Nuwa, Fuxi, Junti Daoran, Jiyin Daoran, Zhulong, Yunfeng, Shikalin, Heashan, Hongyun, Zeus, God. The 8 people looked at the numerous and complicated characters and found it difficult to make a decision. In particular, Ao Yuan, Wang Heianen, Zhao Zilong, and others did not know much about this and had no idea which one to choose. "System, isn't there an option for Ancestor Hongjun?" Jun Yixian boldly asked. As a novel enthusiast from Earth, Jun Yixian was extremely knowledgeable about the prehistoric world. There were many powerful characters in it, but the strongest was only Hongjun. "Hongjun is me." All right then," Jun Yixian's expression stiffened. "Then I'll choose Nuwa." Chu Yangxi was the second to make her choice. As a transmigrator, Chu Yangxi knew more than Jun Yixian. Although this world was just a derivative game world of a modified version of the prehistoric world, there were only a few key characters. Since the little girl chose Nuwa, then I'll choose Fuxi. Li Feiyu recorded that he had chosen the character Fuxi. Chu Yangxi gave Li Feiyu a strange look, but didn't say anything. Nuwa and Fuxi were taken away, so Zhao Zilong and Chu Kishwang had to choose other roles. After looking for a long time, Zhao Zilong chose Heashan and Chu Kishwang chose Haodu. Jun Yixian shook his head and chose a more suitable identity. "In that case, I will be the Tongshan sect leader. Then I'll be the Primordial Celestial Venerable." He Chunkyu thought for a moment, deciding on a role on par with Jun Yixian. "Then I'll choose the Ancestral Dragon." Ao Yuan thought for a moment and finally decided on the final main character. "I think we're missing one of the 3 pure ones, so I'll take on the role of your eldest brother, the Moral Celestial Venerable." Wang Heianen casually chose his role. With this, the identities of the 8 main individuals have been confirmed. Wang Heianen is Moral Celestial Venerable. He Chunkyu is Yuanshi Tianzan. Jun Yixian is Master of the Heavenly Sect. Zhao Zilong is Heashan. The widow in the Chu Ci is Haodu. Chu Yangxi's name is Nuwa. Li Feiyu is Fuxi. Ao Yuan is the ancestral dragon. After confirming the main identity, main account, Chen Zhou set the cultivation levels of the others to the current version's cultivation levels. P.S. This modification is a bit difficult to balance, so there's only one image today. Chapter 225, Reborn and Returning, winning the first test qualification. In a rented room in Lingjiang City, a young man suddenly woke up with a start. I'm not dead, am I? Yifan stared blankly at the familiar yet unfamiliar cramped room. This seemed to be the apartment he rented after graduating and working. Is it a dream or have I been reborn? Yifan asked himself somewhat uncertainly. After a 3-second moment of stunned silence, Yifan decisively took out his phone, which showed the date as November 27, 2024. Yifan was stunned for a moment, then quickly opened Douyin, TikTok, and searched for topics related to Primordial Era Infinite Myths. As expected, today is the first test promotion for Primordial Era Infinite Myths, and game helmets for Primordial Era Infinite Myths are being sold in various live streaming rooms. Now Yifan was certain that he had truly been reborn back to the first test promotional material for Primordial Era Infinite Myths. Although it's called the first test, it's really no different from the public beta of other games. The game Primordial Era Infinite Myths was promoted as a joint release by various countries on Earth and by all game companies worldwide, making it a truly massive event. Primordial Era Infinite Myths breaks away from all previous game traditions, offering a 100% realistic experience, virtually identical to reality, and is hailed as humanity's second world. Furthermore, all countries jointly declared that the spirit stones in Primordial Era Infinite Myths can be converted into national currencies according to the corresponding exchange rate, and can even be used directly as a global universal currency. This news caused a global sensation, and everyone was filled with fighting spirit. Countless working people hoped to defy fate and become rich through Primordial Era Infinite Myth. Yifan in his previous life didn't take it seriously at first, but he didn't buy the game until 3 months later when it was officially released. As the saying goes, falling behind one step at a time leads to falling behind every step at a time. Because he entered the game late, Yifan was far behind others. In addition, the game guides were of little use. Yifan struggled in the game for 250 years and was still just a slightly older ordinary player. In the end, he teamed up with random people to go into a dungeon and was ambushed and killed by Lao Liu. Even in death, Yifan didn't know who the 6th brother who killed him was. Of course, don't think too highly of Primordial Era Infinite Myths. Primordial Era Infinite Myths is outwardly claimed to be a second world jointly created by various countries on Earth. But in reality, it is a 2-dimensional sanctuary world created by the Galactic Interstellar Alliance using the heart of the galaxy to reflect the legends of the ancient gods of Earth. The purpose is to prepare for the cleanliness crisis that will come from radiation 10 years from now. In other words, the chance to revive is only 10 years. After 10 years, when the cleanliness crisis arrives, players will only have 2 choices. 1, I'll spend the rest of my life in the game. 2, it will be destroyed, along with the 2-dimensionalization of the universe. Yifan is a reborn individual, and he has a relatively clear understanding of the major events of the future and the entire game. Seeing the sales figures for the gaming helmets steadily rising in the live stream, Yifan decisively used all his savings to narrowly secure the last gaming helmet qualification in the Great Xia dynasty. In the live stream, the female host, with a professional and sweet smile, thanked her fans for the game helmets selling out. Yifan ignored the nonsense and left the live stream immediately. That was close. Luckily, I managed to snag it at the last minute. Yifan's face flushed with excitement. Yifan's eyes showed determination. Given a second chance at life, I must change my fate and prevent the tragedy from repeating itself. Meanwhile, in Primordial Era Infinite Myths, the various tools were also successively teleported to their respective dojos. Inside the Toshida Palace, Wang Heyanen looked left and right, carefully studying the alchemy furnace in the alchemy room. How do I use this 8 trigrams furnace? The system didn't provide an instruction manual. Looking at the mysterious and ancient 8 trigrams furnace before him, Wang Heyanen felt a sense of embarrassment. Just as Wang Heyanen was in a dilemma, suddenly, a childish voice came from the 8 trigrams furnace. Master, what nonsense are you talking about? How could you not understand the method of alchemy? Upon hearing the sudden noise, Wang Heyanen instinctively shuddered and almost jumped up in fright. Fortunately, Wang Heyanen reacted in time, and realized that the person speaking was none other than the spirit of the Bagua furnace. If there's a spirit within the artifact, things will be much easier from now on. He can't refine pills, but the spirit of the artifact can. Thinking of this, Wang Heianen composed himself, deliberately pretending to be nonchalant, and stroked his long white beard, laughing. "Little gossip, I was just testing you." "Oh, I see." The spirit of the 8 trigrams furnace looked innocently at the familiar old man before it. Although the name Little Gossip sounds a bit strange, it's the first time its owner has called it that, and it's very happy. "Okay, you stay home by yourself, I'm going out for a walk," Wang Heianen explained, then walked out of the palace. The Tashida Palace is very deserted now, with only Lei Uzi, the Supreme Lord of Morality, and Wang Heianen and a blue ox. Wang Heianen couldn't stay idle, and planned to go find other people to hang out with. Inside the Nuwa Palace, Nuwa Chu Yangtze lay lazily on the Simmons mattress she had brought, while a little pig-shaped creature fed her fruit. "Host, let's go out for a walk, it's so boring here." The quick transmigration system pleaded in a coquettish manner. "No, I don't want to. Doing missions every day is exhausting. I need to rest. I'm going to be a stay-at-home girl this time," Chu Yangtze said shamelessly. "Ah, host." Xiao Qi looked at Chu Yangtze lying on the bed with a bitter expression. "Who told you not to show up when you were choosing your identity? Now you want to play around? Figure it out yourself." Chu Yangtze looked at Xiao Qi with schadenfreude. "Host, you can't do this. We're good friends." Xiao Qi's expression instantly fell. She was so sad because her host wouldn't let her play a game, which she finally got to do. Seeing Xiao Qi's pitiful appearance, Chu Yangtze softened. "I won't go out, but you can use my identity to go out and play." "Yay!" Xiao Qi happily flew around the Nuwa Palace. Chu Yangtze sighed and rubbed her forehead. "Be mindful of the time, we have another mission over there." "Understood, host, I will keep track of the time," Xiao Qi replied earnestly. "Okay, go play then." Chu Yangtze waved her hand, indicating that Xiaoqi was allowed to go out and play. Xiao Qi quickly took out a puppet prop, and based on Chu Yangtze's current appearance, sculpted a beautiful human-headed, snake-bodied form, then crawled inside. In a corner of the primordial continent, Zhao Zilong and Chu Kishwang walked side by side, their fingers intertwined, admiring the rare and beautiful scenery. He Chunkyu, on the other hand, excitedly studied the cultivation techniques of this world, hoping to gain some insight. Ao Yuan was busy dealing with a series of affairs concerning the Dragon Clan, making overall plans for the Dragon Hand Calamity. Jun Yixian finally made it to Zhao Zilong's dojo, only to find him missing. He's now searching the whole world for that scoundrel Zhao Zilong. Li Feiyu also left the training ground and began to travel through this magical world. At Zixel Palace, 9 familiar figures gathered together. If you looked at the few key figures, you could easily recognize their identities. These people are the NPCs they are playing. "Lord Heavenly Dao, please make the arrangements. We will certainly cooperate with you." Yuan Hongzhen, game NPC, led the way by bowing respectfully. Looking at the large purple orb of light sitting on the main seat, the 9 NPCs felt boundless fear. The fact that it could bring so many of them to Zixel Palace without anyone noticing was enough to show how terrifying it was. The core NPC characters speculated that the person before them must be the legendary Heavenly Dao. Chen Zhou nodded and said indifferently, "I don't need you to do anything. Just focus on your cultivation and don't appear in the world with those people." "We obey the decree," the NPCs bowed respectfully. "Step back." Chen Zhou waved his hand, teleporting the group back, a sort of surprise for certain guys. Chapter 226, the first test begins. The Chosen One descends. In the primordial era, years were immeasurable. On the day of the first test, a majestic voice resounded throughout the primordial world. "Today, a chosen one will descend upon the world. Do not be alarmed." The game screen flashed by, and numerous beginner villages appeared across the prehistoric continent. As soon as the first test footage was released, it was broadcast live in major broadcasting rooms across Earth. Damn, my game is so meticulous, yet they still hold a welcome ceremony for the players. Ha ha ha, the chosen one, that's a nice sounding and impressive term. Wow, why didn't I get a spot in the first closed beta test? So sad, JPG. Holy crap, is this the surprise of the first test? Awesome, wow. I heard this game is a 100% realistic world. Just thinking about it makes me excited. I'm so jealous of those old foxes. I couldn't even snatch anything from them, I'm so cunning. Please state your race. Yi Fan looked at the large list of options in front of him. Dragons, long lifespans, rulers of the 4 seas, born with immense power and supernatural abilities. Phoenix Clan, Lords of birds, possessing long lifespans, inhabiting immortal volcanoes, skilled in the laws of fire, and with a chance to awaken a special talent. Nirvana. The Kilin clan. King of beasts born with auspiciousness, they dominate Mount Buju and possess formidable defense and power. The primordial human race. The earliest humans to emerge from the primordial continent, few in number with weak racial power, residing in remote corners of the primordial continent. The Usura race. Few in number, currently weak in power, living in the Usura realm and discriminated against by other races. The Ancient Wolf clan. Few in number, weak in strength, struggling to survive in the cracks of the primordial continent. Elves, few in number but extremely beautiful, their racial strength is weak. They are currently hiding deep within the elf forest. Azure Sheep clan, a moderate number inhabiting the Azure grasslands and serving as the primary food source for the Ancient Wolf clan. After glancing casually at the race selection interface, Yi Fan decisively chose the innate human race. As a reborn individual, Yi Fan was aware of the strengths and weaknesses of these races and knew how complex the options were. Take the dragon race as an example. It sounds great, but if you choose it, congratulations, you will start as a lowly dragon, not even a sub-dragon. Your cultivation talent is not as good as that of NPCs, and your treatment and status are not as good as NPCs. In the early stages, all your tasks are doing odd jobs. Wait until the 3 races fight to the death. Haha, congratulations. You've won the annihilation of your entire clan, and there's a high probability you'll die once. The Phoenix clan and the Kilin clan are the same. They both have similar pitfalls. Of course, choosing the human race isn't without its major crises. After the Dragon Hand Cataclysm expansion ends, when the Lick Cataclysm expansion is released, the human race will be captured and forced to forge the Lick Sword. They might not be able to escape and could be wiped out several times. However, once this hurdle is overcome, the advantages of the human race will become increasingly apparent. There's still plenty of time. If we focus on our cultivation, it should be easy to escape the calamity of the slaughtering witch sword. With a flash of golden light, Yi Fan appeared in a remote tribal starting village. Ah, the piercing scream rang out. The Chosen One swapped heads, and a female player, her face flushed, covered her grass skirt. What the hell, all they gave me was a grass skirt, one male player exclaimed instantly. The remaining players looked at themselves and realized, well, they were all the same. The male players were wearing grass skirts, while the female players had an extra piece of clothing on their chests. Yi Fan shook his head. He knew about this from the beginning. The planners were inhuman, and this was something that countless players had complained about in his previous life. The game's official statement indicated that the test server version is from an earlier timeline, so it's normal for the clothing to be simple. Players need to participate in the development and construction of civilization. This game design is inhuman. Not only do they not give us equipment at the start, but they don't even give us decent clothes. Do they think we're cavemen? One streamer complained indignantly on behalf of everyone. The game, Primordial Era Infinite Myths, has a live streaming function. As long as you register a live streaming account and bind it with your real name, you can stream live in real time. However, due to the time difference between the world of Primordial Era, Infinite Myths, and reality, the live broadcast content is played at 10 times the speed on Earth, and viewers need to adjust the speed themselves. It's inconvenient, but there's nothing we can do about it. That's what live streams are like without any editing. If you just want to see interesting content, you have to wait for a professional to edit it. Yi Fan shook his head with a wry smile, then walked straight towards the outside of the Spawn Point Plaza. As Yi Fan stepped out of the square, he immediately felt a series of gazes falling on him. Yi Fan looked closely and saw a group of locals dressed in similar styles of clothing, curiously looking him up and down. Just then, a clear, childlike voice rang out from the crowd. "Hey, who is this person? Has anyone seen him before?" The speaker was a local Aboriginal child. He blinked his big eyes and asked the people around him with an innocent and naive expression. Upon hearing this, another slightly older child nearby quickly interjected. "Are you stupid? He's the Chosen One. I heard he's a good person specially sent down by heaven to help us." "Good man, I could take on 10 of those greyhounds by myself," the child exclaimed loudly, his words uttered with childlike innocence. "Young man, you can't be rude to guests," a deep-set old man sternly reprimanded. After disciplining the naughty child, the village chief turned to Yi Fan and apologized amicably. "I'm sorry, esteemed guest. The village children are just being ignorant. I hope you won't mind." Yifan glanced at the old man's head and saw the words Village Chief shining above it. Then he looked at his rank and saw 3. It's all right, children often speak without thinking. It's nothing to worry about, Yifan said with a smile neither humble nor arrogant. Revered Chosen One, I have no trouble teaching you. Please accept this gift as an apology. With that, the old man produced a small stone knife. Small stone knife, a common weapon made by polishing stone. It is very sharp and can easily cut through ordinary animal hides. Haha, Village Chief, you're too kind. My name is Yifan and I'm new to this place. I hope to trouble you with my gifts in the future. Yifan smiled as he accepted the village chief's gift. Oh, young friend, ye actually guessed my identity. The village chief looked at Yifan in surprise. Yifan shrugged and smiled neither humbly nor arrogantly. Village chief, although you look old, you have a strong aura and powerful cultivation. Who else in the village has such an aura besides you? The village chief nodded, having a good impression of this young chosen one named Yifan. Although Yifan's combat power is not even as good as a chicken, he is, after all, a chosen one sent by heaven, so his cultivation talent is probably not bad. Befriend these people. When the clan wars come, they'll have more fighting power. Just then, the other chosen ones also emerged from the light screen. Seeing that one of them had taken the lead in talking to the NPC, the others followed suit. At the same time, the 8 tools simultaneously obtained the location of the starting village where Yifan, the chosen one of destiny, was located. Yo-ho, we've got a job. A hint of a smile flashed in Fuxi Li Feiyu's eyes. Having exhausted my villainous points for years, I finally have a chance. How could I not be happy? Let's go, honey. Let's go see this guy named Yifan. Hayashin Zhao Zilong was also very excited upon learning of Yifan's arrival. Hutu Chu Ci's widow nodded and said excitedly, "The Child of Destiny. It's a good time to see what makes the Child of Destiny special. The Chosen One? Zhao Zilong, I'll spare you for now." The Tongshan sect leader, Jun Yixian, abandoned his search for Zhao Zilong, changed direction, and immediately headed towards Yifan's location. The Chosen One? Ao Yuan, the ancestral dragon, sighed inwardly, not in a hurry to rush over. Yifan, another one with the surname Yi. There are so many protagonists these days. Yuan Shi Tianzan He Chunkyu shook his head, also embarking on the path of dealing with Yifan. Oh, the Chosen One of Destiny. Then I'll definitely have to show my support. The Supreme Lord Laozi, Wang Heianen, laughed loudly and quickly flew towards Yifan's location. Chu Yangxi was at this time returning to the mission world to do a mission, and did nothing. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Omega equals. Chapter 227, Special Hidden Title. Family members, I'm playing it now too. Although this novice was a bit inexperienced, the villagers were very kind and arranged an earthen room for us. The female game streamer, Ghost Fairy Sister, excitedly introduced the game to the live stream audience. Stop talking nonsense, go out and see what it's like outside the village. Yeah, streamer, I heard this game has a lot of freedom. Let's go out and explore more. Walking, and it just disappeared, right? Evil grin while eating melon seeds. Seeing the fans' comments, the fairy sister had no choice but to bite the bullet and agree to their request. All right then, I'll go out and take a look. After interacting with fans, the Ghost Fairy Sister led the camera out of the village. The live streaming function of Primordial Era, Infinite Myths, is very convenient. It can be operated with thought and also has an automatic camera switching function, which will not affect the player's operation in Primordial Era, Infinite Myths. Hey, Sanmi, do you think that woman is an idiot? She's talking to thin air. The indigenous child, Sanmi, shook his head. I don't know. The chosen ones aren't from our world. Maybe it's fate. Oh well, never mind. We should go chop wood. We won't run out of firewood tonight. Another, slightly older child suddenly thought. That's right, I almost forgot. If I don't chop enough firewood, my father will beat me tonight. With that, the indigenous child, Taiju, hurriedly ran over. Seeing that there was nothing fun to do, the elderly people, women, and children around them dispersed. Yifan watched all this calmly, his heart unmoved. As a reborn being, Yifan was very familiar with the Primordial Era and Infinite Myths. Players in this world are called Chosen Ones, but they start out as the weakest group on the Primordial Continent. As for their combat strength, they can't even beat the chickens raised by the native NPCs in the starting village. Going out to explore now would be tantamount to suicide. Although dying now doesn't result in any item loss, it wastes time. Instead of wasting time messing around, it's better to complete the hidden beginner quests, gain experience, and develop your character secretly. Primordial Era, Infinite Myths. As a 100% realistic game, it offers a very high degree of freedom, and advancing civilization will earn corresponding rewards. There are 2 rewards for completing the Civilization Advancement mission. One is a contribution reward specially awarded to the player by NPCs who think that the player's inventions are useful to them. The other is the mission reward from the game system, such as experience, gold coins, resources, hidden items, etc. The amount of the reward is positively correlated with the impact of the player's invention on the game. If a player can create a firearm or psionic weapon in the early stages, they will be extremely wealthy. Of course, everything has its advantages and disadvantages. If the things invented by players are too threatening, powerful beings from other races will also come to the real players. Yifan remembered that in his previous life, there was a player named True Love is Invincible who made bombs in the game. Because he was too flamboyant, he was killed by a monster. Having learned from past mistakes, Yifan did not choose to pursue anything too powerful. Ding Tilde server-wide announcement. Congratulations to player Ghost Fairy Sister for achieving a special achievement witness first kill. Player Ghost Fairy Sister has gained 250 experience points, 250 gold coins, 1 regular fruit knife, and the special title, War Reporter. This is to announce that all players are encouraged to continue their efforts and actively explore the new gameplay of the prehistoric world. Announcement times 3. Suddenly, 3 world broadcasts sounded. World Channel. Player A, what's going on? There's a reward for being the first to die. The player, wait a minute, UVV replied. You don't know me. I just died too, but I didn't get any rewards. Player Super Protection says, maybe you were a second too late. The player commented, I'm bad, don't save me, adding, I'm angry that I get a reward for being killed. Players learn to say no. Wow, this game planner is really something else. I really didn't expect this reward. The player Super Timetable Download said, I can only say I was careless and didn't dare to go out. Yifan was also taken aback when he heard the announcement from around the world. Strange, I clearly remember that there was no such reward in my previous life. Could it be that this person just happened to encounter some hidden trigger condition? The missions in the world of Primordial Era Infinite Myths are almost all hidden, and the trigger conditions are varied, with some having very demanding prerequisites. It's not impossible if it's purely luck. Yifan gave a helpless, bitter smile, thinking to himself, perhaps it's a chain reaction caused by my rebirth. Yifan shook his head and continued grinding the bone needles. At the number 7 Beginner Village Resurrection Point, the Ghost Fairy Sister was bewildered as she solidified again. Ding Tilde, you encountered an ordinary fly and were killed. Your level is 0 and cannot be lowered. Your inventory is empty and no items were lost. Recalling the cold system voice from a few minutes ago, the Ghost Fairy Sister slowly came back to her senses. Ha ha ha, I'm dying of laughter. The streamer got solo killed by a fly. Laughing wildly JPG. Amazing, absolutely amazing. This game planner is a genius. I never expected to be killed by a fly. This is truly primordial. Covers face and smiles bitterly. Why give the streamer a reward? I'm so jealous. Getting hit by a fly and dying like that, anyone would be dumbfounded. Laughing and crying emoji. The Ghost Fairy Sister didn't watch the live stream. She went straight to check the title War Correspondent. War Correspondent, a special hidden title that reduces the wearer's presence in a crowd, increases cultivation by 30%, defense by 50%, and attack by 10%, and exempts the wearer from death-related demotion penalties. War Correspondent, no, you're mocking me. The Fairy Sister sulked angrily. War Correspondent, listen to that title, doesn't it sound good? Ha ha ha. Congratulations to the streamer for winning the title of War Correspondent and becoming the first recipient of the game's special reward. I can't laugh anymore. What a god-level War Correspondent, max-level taunting, ha ha ha. Laughs wildly. Don't be angry, host. Try to look on the bright side. This boost is actually pretty good. Yes. Sister, we're not cut out for fighting. It's good enough for us to just enjoy watching the world's events. The anchor will be counting on you on the front lines from now on. Seeing the fans' smiles pressed against her face, the Ghost Fairy Sister couldn't bring herself to smile. While the title War Correspondent is a great bonus, it feels strangely odd in the game. After a brief silence, the Fairy Sister brought up her attribute panel. Nickname Ghost Fairy Sister. Gender female. Age 23. Level 2, 100-200. Realm, early stage of body refinement. Occupation, none. Spiritual root. Not yet met the awakening requirements, level 10 awakening. Chi and blood, 200-200. Cultivation level, 50. Combat strength, 10. Main cultivation method, none. Auxiliary cultivation methods, none. Supernatural powers, none. Faction, none. Special title, war correspondent already worn. Ritual implements, none. Armor, none. What? Does it take level 10 to awaken a spiritual root? The ghost fairy sighed helplessly. We're only at level 2 now. There's still a long way to go. Chapter 228, the correct way to play the game. 3 minutes later, a slight spatial fluctuation came, and 6 familiar figures appeared one after another like ghosts above Yi Fan, the chosen one. Seeing that the 5 people had arrived faster than him, Jun Yixian was a little surprised. Hey guys, you're so fast? I thought I'd be the first one here. Zhao Zilong smiled faintly and said, It's not easy to have a team-building activity. How can I not come early? Haha, that's true. Jun Yixian laughed, agreeing with Zhao Zilong's statement. By the way, how should we arrange our attack on Yi Fan this time? Should we attack him one by one in a certain order, or should we launch an attack together? He Chunkyu looked intently at everyone and raised this crucial question. Li Feiyu said with a serious expression, In my opinion, we don't need to be bound by the order of things. Since it's a team-building activity, let's arrange it flexibly according to Yi Fan's growth trajectory, so he won't feel restricted or unable to fully utilize his abilities. Upon hearing this, Wang Heianen nodded repeatedly in agreement. After a moment's thought, Jun Yixian nodded in agreement. Yes, that's true. Team-building activities are all about having fun. The most important thing is that everyone can speak freely and showcase their talents. Zilong and I have no objections either, Chu Kishwang said with a smile. After everyone had expressed their opinions, Li Feiyu nodded and decisively made the decision. Okay, then it's decided. Below in the beginner village, for some reason, Yi Fan shivered, as if he had been targeted by some prehistoric beast. Yi Fan scratched his head in confusion. What's going on? The weather isn't cold at all, this is strange. Forget it, let's finish making the bone needles first, and complete the mission to advance the hidden civilization. Yi Fan shook his head and continued polishing the bone needles in his hands. With enough effort, even bone can be ground into a needle. Yi Fan muttered the motto as he diligently polished the dear bone in his hands. Family members, it's too dangerous outside. Let's not go out and wander around for now. I'll show you what the other players are doing, okay? Ghost Fairy Sister announced to the live stream. Ha, the streamer chickened out. Host, I still want to see the scenery outside. Host, you should go out more often. Simple JPG. Don't listen to him, streamer. He just wants to see you drop a level, he's malicious. The Ghost Fairy Sister looked at the suggestions from her fans in the live stream, but did not accept the advice to go out and cause trouble. Just kidding, she's a level 2 player now. If she goes out, she'll really lose levels and gold coins. To protect the 250 gold coins in her pocket and the hard-earned experience points, the fairy ghost sister would never run away. Family members, look, there's a player over there grinding. Let's go see what he's doing. After saying that, the ghost fairy walked towards Yi Fan. Seeing the strange player in front of her, the fairy sister skillfully opened the other party's attribute panel. Nickname, Immortal Emperor. Gender, male. Age, 26. Level, 0050. Realm, none. Occupation, none. Spiritual root. Not yet met the awakening requirements, level 10 awakening. Chi and blood, 50-50. Cultivation level, 0. Combat strength, 1. Main cultivation method, none. Auxiliary cultivation methods, none. Supernatural powers, none. Faction, none. Special title, none. Ritual implements, none. Armor, none. Wow, level 0, that's ruthless. This game is so unfriendly. How can a level 0 player play it? Luckily, our fairy sister was fortunate enough to receive a hidden reward by chance. Upon seeing this comment, the fairy sister's lips twitched, and the joy on her face vanished without a trace. What does it mean to be lucky? Anyone who's lucky enough to leave the village will die. Haha, the ghost fairy sister laughed awkwardly and changed the subject. Let's go see what the undying immortal emperor is up to. The ghost fairy sister walked up to Yi Fan and politely asked, Brother, have you received some hidden mission? Why are you grinding your bones here? Yi Fan looked up and said coldly, No, I'm exploring the game. After saying that, Yi Fan lowered his head and continued to carefully polish the bone. Yi Fan had actually noticed this female player long ago, but since there was no one named Ghost Fairy Sister among the top players in the future, Yi Fan had no intention of paying attention to her. Yi Fan understood the truth of the primordial era infinite myths, and also understood the cruelty of the future world. To survive in the primordial world of infinite mythology, you must level up quickly and acquire sufficient power. In the primordial world of infinite mythology, there are a total of 100 player levels, each corresponding to one of the 10 major realms of cultivation: body refinement, chi refinement, foundation establishment, golden core, nascent soul, deity transformation, void return, body integration, tribulation transcending, and Mahayana. Every 10 levels constitute a major realm. Reaching 100 levels leads to immortality and entry into the realm of immortality. Yifan's current level is 0, and he is still a long way from becoming an immortal. To quickly ascend to immortality, one must utilize the 10 years before the world's destruction. That is, the 100-year player time in the world of primordial era infinite myths, to rapidly level up and defy the heavens to become an immortal. After a century of player time, the world of primordial era infinite myths will homogenize everyone, making leveling up extremely difficult. Talent, opportunity, comprehension, and Dao heart, you won't be able to succeed if you lack any one of them. In his previous life, Yifan was unaware of these things. He struggled for decades before barely reaching the nascent soul stage. Then he was homogenized by the primordial era infinite myths, and his cultivation stagnated for over 150 years. Finally, while exploring a secret realm, entering a dungeon, he was ambushed by Lao Liu and died on the spot. "Excuse me, I'm sorry." The fairy sister apologized politely, then turned the camera and walked towards the other players. There aren't many players in Stone Village. The starting village number 7, only about 20 or so, and they're quite scattered. Some players are talking to the old man in Stone Village, trying to get a quest. Some are befriending the little boy, hoping to trigger a storyline. Others are already helping the villagers with chores, trying to build up their favorability, and still others are coming out of the respawn point. The ghost fairy sister walked around, stopping frequently to greet and chat with the players while also observing their every move and learning from their experiences. 10 days later, player time. The players in Stone Village, who were closely watching Yifan's movements, all made considerable improvements. Without the influence of the intelligence reduction aura, the ghost fairy sister, thanks to her skillful hands, actually became the first chosen one player in Stone Village to reach level 9 with full experience. Damn it, this woman really knows how to steal the limelight, Yifan thought with immense frustration. 9 days ago, Yifan, who had been busy all day, finally crafted an ancient needle and handed it over to the village chief, successfully receiving 2 rewards. As soon as they stepped out of the village chief's house, they were bumped into by the wandering fairy sister. And then all the players learned that inventing items useful to the village would earn them rewards. Then the players of Stone Village showed off their skills, creating tools from real life. Ghost Fairy Sister even made matches with the help of her all-knowing fans, becoming a great hero of Stone Village. The only pity is that no matter how hard the players try, no one triggers the time announcement anymore, as if the prehistoric continent already had these things. No one was surprised by this. There are immortals in the game world, and immortals must have things that mortals don't. They just haven't spread them to mortals. For example, the best-dressed NPCs in Stone Village wear animal skins, but the gods and demons in the game's promotional materials are dressed quite lavishly, and their palaces are very magnificent. Not to mention mythological figures. Even the more powerful tribes had far more advanced living technology than the less advanced tribes. Triggering the first ever reward is incredibly difficult. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Omega equals. Chapter 229, Clash of Clans. Village Chief, something terrible has happened. Suddenly, a thin man wearing an animal skin skirt shouted as he ran back into the village. The players looked up in confusion. Speedy, slow down, what exactly happened? The village chief asked gravely. Village Chief, the neighboring New Village and neighboring Wang Village are attacking. Flying Legs breathlessly relayed the news. What? The village chief was shocked. Wang Village and New Village are the other 2 villages that stand alongside Shi Village in a tripartite balance of power. The 3 villages have always looked out for each other and helped each other to resist the invasion of monsters. But now, the other 2 villages have actually joined forces. This is completely illogical. This is not scientific. Flying Legs, are you sure you didn't see wrong? New Village and Wang Village really disregarded the 3 villages' alliance agreement and actually attacked. The village chief's face was solemn, his hands unconsciously clenched into fists, and he asked again in a low and serious voice. Speedy looked at the village chief anxiously and earnestly. It's true, village chief. This is absolutely true. I saw with my own eyes the soldiers from Wang and Niu villages marching menacingly towards our village. They were all armed, and they looked like they were up to no good. Upon hearing this, the crowd erupted in a flurry of whispers and discussions. Village chief, what should we do? The men in the village haven't returned from hunting yet, a strong woman asked with a grave expression. Yes, village chief. All the men in our village have gone out hunting, and there aren't many soldiers left in the village. Please think of a solution. Village chief, let's retreat. As long as we're alive, we can always rebuild, a slightly younger man said timidly. Shirgu, you coward. We haven't even fought yet, and you're already thinking of surrendering. Are you even a man? A burly young NPC roared angrily. This is a village feud? Why? Player Malman 9527 muttered in confusion. I don't know, it's probably for the plot. Based on years of gaming experience, this is most likely a large-scale team quest triggered. Player, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, guessed knowingly. Really, that's great. I've been stuck at level 6 for days. If there's a large team quest, our leveling up is a sure thing. Player, I don't eat beef, exclaimed excitedly. The other players were also very excited, but Yi Fan, who was standing alone in the corner, had a bitter look in his eyes. As a reborn individual, Yi Fan knew that this clan conflict was clearly targeting the players in Stone Village. Because players invented all sorts of bizarre gadgets, life in Stone Village changed dramatically, with improvements in combat strength, productivity, and sanitation. Since neither Niu Village nor Wang Village had any chosen ones, they naturally sensed a crisis when they saw Shi Village developing rapidly with the help of the chosen ones. Attacking Stone Village and killing the chosen ones is only a matter of time. Yi Fan didn't tell other players about the hidden civilization development quest at the beginning, because he didn't want to trigger tribal conflicts prematurely. Unfortunately, when Yi Fan left the village chief's house, he was deliberately bumped into by the wandering ghost fairy sister, and the news that promoting the development of the village could earn him a mission reward spread. It seems my rebirth has caused a butterfly effect, Yi Fan smiled wryly. Oh well, what's meant to happen will happen. These mere natives can't stop me. Perfect timing to test my fighting prowess in this life. Yi Fan's eyes gleamed with confidence. Yi Fan skillfully opened his attribute panel. Nickname, Immortal Emperor. Gender, male. Age, 26. Level, 12, 312-2000. Realm, Early Chi Refining Stay. Career path not yet selected. Spiritual root, Innate Chaotic Spiritual root. Special talent, Eye of the Gods. Chi and Blood, 2000-2000. Cultivation level, 123,561, 100,000 plus. Combat power, 834,399, 800,000 plus. Main cultivation method, none. Auxiliary cultivation methods, none. Supernatural powers, none. Faction, none. Special title, none. Ritual implements, none. Armor, none. Weapons, standard spear, standard attack, standard stone knife. Ding, large-scale mission triggered. Mission, defend Stone Village. Difficulty, hell. Mission successful. All players will collectively level up by 6. Obtain the low-grade magic weapon Black Iron Sword. Obtain the common armor Rattan Armor. Obtain the low-grade yellow rank cultivation technique, Chi induction technique, and receive a 10% increase in mission rewards for 3 days. Mission failed. Beginner Village number 7 has been destroyed. The respawn point has been respawned. All players' levels have been reduced by 5. Mission rewards have been reduced by 30% for 1 month, and respawn time has been extended by 10 minutes. Woohoo, take off! Player Malman 9527 was so excited that he danced with joy, his happiness overflowing. Awesome, this mission reward can instantly boost my level by 6. Amazing. Hahaha, from now on, I am a true cultivator. In an instant, the scene became incredibly lively, with players beaming with joy and unable to stop smiling. One of the players couldn't contain his enthusiasm and ran to the village chief, volunteering. Don't worry, village chief. We will do our best to protect our village. Yes, village chief, please arrange for us to join the village protection team. We're all willing to contribute to the village. Player, I don't eat beef, chimed in. The village chief was deeply moved by the sight of the chosen ones, their eyes burning with fervor. But faced with a bunch of weaklings who couldn't even beat the 8 treasures chicken, the village chief really didn't know what use these people could be. Then I thank you all on behalf of the villagers, the village chief said politely. Village chief, we are all villagers, and it's our duty to contribute to the village. player. I don't eat beef, declared loudly and righteously. Haha, then I'll trouble you chosen ones to act as the mobile support team, the village elder said with a shrewd, symbolic gesture. Just then a powerful voice rang out. Stone, hand over the chosen one, or we will ravage Stone Village. All the chosen one's players. They're here to attack us. The players were completely bewildered. They've never even left the village, and these NPCs are already attacking them. Are they crazy? Village chief, this? A village woman looked at the village chief. The chosen players suddenly felt a chill in their hearts and couldn't help but curse inwardly. You damn game planner, you're inhuman. Are you kidding me? Giving them high difficulty levels in the beginner village. The village chief looked at the elderly, women, and children behind him with complicated emotions, then at the large number of players in front of him, and finally looked at the village chiefs of the other two villages with a firm gaze. You two are making such a big fuss. It can't just be for the chosen one, can it? Ha ha ha, Stone, we don't want to negotiate amicably either. If you chosen one hand over 2/3, the 3 villages will divide it equally and will withdraw our troops. How about that? Wang village chief Wang Ba laughed as he stated his terms. Are you kidding? The 3 villages have been on good terms for generations. If they were to kill each other over a few chosen ones, wouldn't they be idiots? While the chosen ones are important, survival is the most important thing. Even if they win a fight against Ishimura, they will still face retaliation from Ishimura's warriors, making it a losing proposition. Instead of killing each other, why not just divide the chosen ones equally and let the 3 villages develop together? Wouldn't that be wonderful? Stone, Wangba is right. As long as you hand over 2/3 of the chosen ones, we'll immediately withdraw our troops and will remain allies. Niu Tu, the village chief of Niu Village, chimed in. Upon hearing the words of the 2 village chiefs, she fell into deep thought. Chapter 230, they are the chosen ones. Indispensable partners of Ishimura. They deserve extra pay. All eyes were on Stone, the village chief of Stone Village, awaiting his decision. Whether to fight or compromise, it all depends on the decision of the village chief of Shikun. Yi Fan looked at all this with a strange expression, completely unable to understand why the NPC would do this. Urged impatiently, yes, Stone, is it worth it to disregard the lives of your people for a few chosen ones? The village chief of Minotaur Village echoed, offering his advice. I think village chief Niu and village chief Wang are right. Although the chosen ones were sent by heaven, they are not from our village. I am not willing to give my life for them, a woman from Yishi Village said frankly. Our 3 villages have intermarried for generations, so we should take care of each other and share weal and woe. Niu Village and Wang Village only want some of the chosen ones to help them develop, which is not an unreasonable request at all. The chosen ones have helped us so much, and now you're repaying kindness with enmity. Are you even human? A young woman shouted indignantly. Little flower, it's your business if you like a certain chosen one. If you don't agree, then go and fight back Wang Village and Niu Village yourself. I'm not going to risk my life for some outsiders. Another villager from Stone Village retorted directly. I support Brother Chen. Wang Village and Niu Village just need the chosen ones to help them develop. They won't do anything to them. The chosen ones are just living in a different place. They're not dead. Agreed. While the chosen ones bring some fun to our lives, we also give them the best food and rewards. We don't owe them anything. The villagers had differing opinions, but the majority of them supported a peaceful resolution. Stone, what's your decision? Hand over the people or fight? Village Chief Wangba urged impatiently again. Stone, that's enough. We're all neighbors living under the same sky and on the same land. Our demands aren't high. There's no need to strain our relationship over a few outsiders. The village chief, Niu Tu, also seemed impatient. Hearing the villagers' comments and the 2 village chiefs' words, village chief, she sighed helplessly. Sigh. Seeing that the village chief of Shi Village had compromised, the village chiefs of Niu Village, Niu Tu, and Wang Village, Wang Ba, breathed a sigh of relief. To be honest, they didn't want to be locked in a life or death struggle with Ishimura, but the chosen one was too special. If they didn't stop him in advance, they would never be a match for Ishimura. The village chief, exuding an air of authority, raised his head and said in a deep voice, You bastards, it's not impossible for me to hand over a portion of the chosen ones, but what? Wang Ba looked at the stone impatiently. Minotaur stopped the ill-tempered turtle and solemnly promised, Stone, as long as you hand over the chosen one, we can give you some compensation. The village chief nodded, looked at the chosen ones with a stern expression, and said in a deep voice, They are the chosen ones, indispensable partners of Stone Village. They need more money. What more money? Upon hearing this, all the players were collectively stunned. Nobody were players, the chosen ones, for God's sake, adding money. You're asking for money, you idiot. What kind of terrible game planner is this? Are they deliberately messing with the players? Grass. Brothers, don't stop me, I can't take it anymore. Player, I'm a handsome guy, angrily rolled up his sleeves. All the players stepped back in unison. Brother, we didn't stop you. Go for it, we believe in you, good luck. Looking at my teammate who betrayed me on the spot, a handsome guy coughed awkwardly twice and made an excuse. Well, it's a bit hot and my hands are sweating. The players exchanged knowing smiles. Stone, tell me, what do you want? The turtle asked in a gruff voice. The village chief shook his head and laughed. Not much, 1 deer leg per person. Upon hearing the demand, the village chief, Wangba, roared angrily. Why don't you just rob us? If you think it's too expensive, you don't have to pay. I'm not forcing you, Village Chief Hebishan said with a smile. Stone, isn't this a bit too expensive? Even the village chief of Niutu felt it was unreasonable. Winter is approaching, and those chosen ones have consumed a lot of our food reserves. If you're going to take them with you, you'll naturally have to cover the food consumption for us, the Stone Village Chief said slowly and arrogantly. Besides, there are 21 chosen ones in total, divided equally among the 3 villages, which means 7 per village. 7 deer legs are less than 2 adult deer. If you think it's difficult to hunt them, we can have a whole adult deer instead. A fully grown deer shouldn't be a difficult task for you. After speaking, the Stone Village Chief stared intently at the 2 village chiefs, awaiting their reply. The 2 village chiefs exchanged a glance and solemnly agreed. Okay. Even though it's a bit challenging this season, it's not impossible for an adult deer to do it. Trading 1 adult deer for 7 chosen ones isn't a bad deal. Ding, the large-scale team mission. Defend the village has been completed. Kills 0. Loss 0. Mission assessment. The conflict between the 3 villages was perfectly resolved through a unique and indirect approach to save the villages. But no one killed any enemies, resulting in unearned gains. Overall task rating, B++. Overall quest rewards. All players level up by 6. All players receive a low-grade magic weapon, the Black Iron Sword. All players receive common armor, the Rattan Armor, and all players receive the low-grade yellow rank cultivation technique. Chi Induction Technique. Quest rewards are increased by 10% over 2.5 days. Ding, your level has increased by 6 levels. You have obtained the low-grade magic weapon Black Iron Sword, the common armor Rattan Armor, and the low-grade yellow rank cultivation technique, Chi Induction Technique. Your quest rewards for the next 2.5 days will be increased by 10%. Times 21. System voice notifications rang out, announcing that all 21 players in Shikun had leveled up, but the players weren't particularly happy. Ha ha ha, this planner is a genius selling players in the newbie village. Why aren't you smiling, host? Don't you like it? Hee hee JPG. A mission against all odds? I thought there would be a real battle, but it turns out to be a huge one. Bitter smile. I really didn't expect this task to be completed so well. It's absolutely incredible. Laughing and crying emoji. It's like a knife poking your ass, it's eye-opening. Facepalm emoji. Player, this leveling up is so pathetic, how can I be happy? Red Hot JPG. Watching the delayed comments from viewers in the live stream, the ghost fairy sister, who had been protecting the players, felt a mix of emotions. The way I accepted this task is really ridiculous. But I can't beat the NPCs for now, so I'll just have to put up with it. Ha ha ha, Brother Stone, since that's the case, let's choose our people. To be fair, we'll take turns, 1 person at a time, until we're all chosen. Brother Stone, how about you go first? Village Chief Niutu suggested with a smile. Of course, since you 2 brothers are so kind as to give me face, then I'll go first. The Stone Village Chief was beaming and in high spirits. With so many chosen ones who only eat and don't hunt, and who constantly come up with new gadgets to exchange for things, to be honest, Ishimura is really struggling to keep up. He's almost exhausted all his resources. The village chief was genuinely happy that someone was sharing the burden. I'm also thrilled to have gained 2 adult deer. Beep, a healthy and suitable candidate has been detected, meeting the system binding requirements. System binding 100%. The Destiny Battlefield Reporter System has been successfully bound. Host Mengshaing. Holy crap, the system. The ghost fairy sister looked completely bewildered. Ding, the Destiny War Reporter System is here to protect its host. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Omega equals. Chapter 231. A true man is born between heaven and earth. How can he remain subservient to others for long? System, what functions do you have? The fairy sister asked, her eyes shining. As a veteran game streamer, Sister Ghost Fairy is also very knowledgeable about the system. The novel features a famous cheat system, one of the most unreasonable cheat codes. It has a system that allows even a pig to soar to great heights under the system's guidance, offering numerous benefits. Of course, this is on the premise that you don't encounter a stronger system, especially the evil villain system. Beep, the main function of this system is to live stream various major events, bringing enjoyment to a wide audience. The host can receive corresponding rewards by broadcasting various major events and news. I see, I understand now. The fairy sister nodded thoughtfully. Ding, new quest activated. Broadcast player Undying Immortal Emperor's Wrathful Rage. Chenzhou immediately issued new tasks tailored to local conditions. All 6 key figures hit around Yi Fan, and Chenzhou naturally followed suit. Upon hearing the system task, the ghost fairy sister immediately turned the camera towards the immortal Emperor Yi Fan, looking on with anticipation as she prepared to watch the drama unfold. Just then, the 3 village chiefs, who had agreed on the terms, led their burly and strong prehistoric natives toward the players with hostility. What are you doing? Don't come any closer, a female player trembled with fear. Village chief, I thought you were a good person, but I never expected you to be such a beast in human form. A male player glared angrily at the stone village chief. Human face, beast's heart, ha ha ha. Weren't you all going to serve the village chief? Now I'm just letting you go to a different place. What, you're backing out now? The stone village chief looked at the players with a benevolent expression. We are the chosen ones. You'll regret messing with us. Player I don't eat beef glared angrily at the village chief. At level 21, players can now discern the village chief's levels. According to their cultivation realms, all 3 village chiefs are cultivators who have just entered the foundation establishment stage. Due to the lack of a comprehensive and widespread cultivation system, these native NPCs can only utilize the most primitive physical strength of cultivators. However, they are not physical cultivators, and due to old age and physical weakness, their combat strength is roughly at the level of a foundation establishment gatekeeper. Give them some more time, and they'll definitely let these NPCs know why the flowers are so red. Regret, I Wang Ba never regret anything. With your skill level, even if you had 10 years, you still wouldn't be my match, ha 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 ha. Wang Ba laughed wildly. Ha 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 ha. The native NPC behind him also burst into laughter. They were the strongest warriors in the village, trained with the most rigorous discipline, yet even so, they were no match for the 3 village chiefs' top warriors. How can these skinny, pale-faced men and women compare to them? Young man, don't think that just because you've eaten some spiritual flesh and benefited from some light, you can surpass us. We've lived in this world for decades and have seen all kinds of storms. Your ideas are things we've already mastered. Young man, I advise you, Rat-Tail Juice, to work hard for us. In 3 to 5 years, perhaps we'll accept you and make you one of us, the village chief of New Village said calmly. 358 years. Suddenly, a simple yet arrogant voice rang out. Looking in the direction of the sound, they saw a handsome young man with a crooked mouth and a wicked smile that he thought was very cool walking out. Oh, Yi Fan! Stone Village Chief, she too looked at the young man he had the highest hopes for with some surprise, and laughed. What, Yi Fan, do you want to plead with me? Begging for mercy? Do you even deserve it? Yi Fan stared expressionlessly at the 3 village chiefs before him. 2 at level 21 and 1 at level 22 collapsed completely. Kid, so you're pretty brave. Village Chief Wang Ba cracked his shovel-sized hand. A true man is born between heaven and earth. How can he remain subservient to others for long? Yi Fan shouted confidently. Yes, well said. That's the confidence a player should have. Confidence? A level 17 idiot trying to take on a bunch of level 20-plus NPCs. You're asking for it. I think these 2 are only daring to show off in front of these NPCs because they can resurrect. There really are some people who are incredibly stubborn and unafraid of death. Sigh, this guy is really reckless. Looks like we're in for a good show. What a pity for the streamer she got screwed over by this show-off. Sighing emoji. Idiot, if you want to die, don't drag us down with you. We're not even acquaintances, a young player yelled. Exactly. Exactly, it's just growing in a different place. It's not like you'll lose a piece of flesh. What's the big deal? You're crazy. Why don't you take a piss and look at yourself in the mirror? With your looks, you think you can take on the NPCs. Are you out of your mind? Watching the delayed barrage of comments in the live stream and listening to the taunts from the surrounding players, Sister Ghost Fairy felt something was off, much like the scene in a novel where the protagonist pretends to be weak before actually catching a tiger. This guy must have been reading too many novels. The fairy sister sighed, covering her face in exasperation. In the blink of an eye, the ghost fairy sister shielded everyone in front of her, waiting for her chance to strike. Ha ha ha, you're a real coward. I think you're more like a big idiot. With your skinny arms and legs, you probably couldn't even beat my 8 treasures chicken. A native NPC loudly mocked. Ha ha ha. Upon hearing this, the NPCs also burst into unrestrained laughter, completely disregarding Yi Fan. Whether it's true or not, we'll only know after we fight, Yi Fan replied firmly. Yi Fan disdained to explain to these ants. Facts speak louder than words. Boy, aren't you afraid of biting off more than you can chew? I'll give you 3 moves. If you can defeat me, I'll bestow upon you the surname Wang, the arrogant village chief Wang shouted. Sword come. Yi Fan let out a low groan, and a 3-foot-long black sword appeared in his hand. This was the reward from the mission he had just received. Yi Fan took it out of his personal backpack. A personal backpack, how nostalgic. Yi Fan sighed inwardly. Yi Fan hadn't used his personal backpack in over 100 years. Family members, get ready, the battle is about to begin, the ghost fairy sister whispered to the live stream audience. Hey streamer, you should join in too. You're 2 levels higher than that bastard, so don't be afraid. Yeah, streamer, you'll definitely win if you go up there. Why don't you dare fight that NPC, streamer? Evil grin. Seeing the fans making a fuss, the fairy sister frowned slightly and laughed awkwardly. Ha ha. A girl like me isn't good at fighting. Let's just quietly watch the show, ha ha. Ha ha, the streamer looks so cute being all timid and cowardly. Cute, but unfortunately it's going to die of cuteness in a minute. Pa, you people only know how to bully Meng Meng, you fake fans. Creating something out of thin air. Seeing Yi Fan conjure a sword out of nowhere, the village chief of Wangba's eyes showed a strange light. Boy, what kind of tricks are you using? Village chief Wang Ba looked at Yi Fan with a serious expression, a hint of excitement flashing in his eyes. The chosen ones are indeed extraordinary. They even possess the supernatural abilities typically found only in large tribes. Good, excellent. If we capture this brat, Turtle Chief will be a god. Turtle Village Chief's eyes gleamed with fanaticism. Behind them, the Stone Village Chief and the Ox Head Village Chief also stepped forward, shouting, You bastards! Immortals share their methods, let's attack together. Okay, Village Chief Wang Ba agreed to their proposal without hesitation. A hint of commotion flashed in Yi Fan's eyes. Good. Chapter 232, Beating the Big Man to Death with Random Punches. What? The 3 village chiefs turned pale, their eyes filled with disbelief and horror. Spells, it's actually spells. This kid knows the legendary spells. How is that possible? You should know that magic is a skill possessed only by the immortals of large tribes. And this seemingly young Yi Fan actually possesses the abilities of an immortal. Truly a chosen one, indeed blessed with extraordinary talent. If they could obtain this method from this guy, they could lead their tribe to prosperity and even challenge medium-sized tribes. Too late to realize this now? Yi Fan's lips curled up slightly, forming a mocking arc, as if he thoroughly enjoyed the feeling of being the center of attention. Bang! The 3 village chiefs were no ordinary people either. They reacted quickly, dodging Yi Fan's attack with a swift movement. Although they successfully dodged the attack, the 3 men looked extremely grim. They stared intently at Yi Fan, secretly considering their next move. Clearly, they dared not underestimate Yi Fan, who possessed magical abilities. Bring me the spears, Village Chief Wang Ba shouted. A soldier behind him quickly threw his spear to his village chief. Not to be outdone, the Stone Village Chief and the Ox Head Village Chief also brandished their weapons. Boy, even though you have mastered magic, the 3 heroes of Heise working together will make it impossible for you to leave this Heise Valley, no matter how powerful you are. The village chief of Ishimura roared angrily, his eyes wide with fury. HMPH, with the village chiefs joining forces, even a peak 2nd-tier demonic beast will only meet a bitter end. This kid is doomed. The Minotaur, the #1 warrior of New Village, beamed with confidence. Great, we can practice magic now, a young man shouted excitedly, waving his fist. With magic, we can definitely leave this valley and compete with those powerful villages around us, vying for our own glory. Another middle-aged man's eyes gleamed with longing. I've always heard that the outside world is vast, but I never thought Wang Taiju would have the chance to go out and explore it in my lifetime. Ha ha ha. A hearty laugh rang out from the crowd. Old man, take this. Yi Fan roared, leaped high into the air, gathered his strength, and slashed. Completed in one go. The village chief, Wang Ba, was standing in the middle and couldn't dodge in time. His head was severed by the sword energy in an instant. Village chief, Wang village soldier shouted in a panic. Slash, Yifan seized the opening, turned around, and unleashed another fluid sword strike. Having spent over 250 years navigating the primordial chaos and boundless mythology, Yifan possesses extensive combat experience, and adaptability is merely a basic skill for him. The village chief of Shi village opened his mouth, but saw himself waving at himself. Village chief, the villagers of Shi village were devastated. Charge, all of you, charge! The village chief of Niu village shouted hastily. Protect the village chief. Avenge the village chief. Kill this beast. Slay these ungrateful beasts. The surrounding villagers instantly turned red, their eyes bloodshot, and charged at Yifan fearlessly. Ding, large-scale mission triggered. Mission, defend the respawn point and establish a new home. Difficulty, hard. Mission successful. All players have collectively leveled up by 3, obtained the mid-grade magic weapon King Feng Sword, obtained the low-grade defensive magic weapon Xuan Tai Huang Jia, and obtained 5,000 gold coins. Mission failed. Starting Village 7 has been destroyed. Player respawn points have been respawned. All players' levels have been reduced by 4, and respawn time has been extended by 30 minutes. As the notification for a large team quest sounded, all villagers around the player instantly became red-named. Seeing the menacing villagers, the players also drew their iron swords and joined the team battle caused by Yifan. Player Everyday Follows Feelings has died. Player Hater dies a tragic death. Player Eatmore is dead. Within 3 minutes, several low-level players returned to the respawn point and stood there blankly. Friendly reminder, this mission will fail if the iconic structure at the respawn point is destroyed. What? Upon hearing the system notification, players who were planning to slack off at the respawn point donned their rattan armor and fearlessly charged out of the respawn cave to rejoin the battle. The Ghost Fairy Sister dodged left and right, using the special bonus of the Battlefield Reporter title to reduce her presence in the crowd, waiting for an opportunity to strike and protect the players around her. With the special bonus of being a war correspondent, the villagers and players of the 3 villages tacitly ignored the existence of the ghost fairy Meng Shiang and fought to the death around the Resurrection Cave. No, Anchor, you're a real war correspondent. Incredulous JPG. You streamer, you're such a noob. Your teammates are almost all dead. Facepalm emoji. This is a real war correspondent, you can't criticize him. Painful JPG. Family members, don't worry, let's wait for the right moment to grab some kills, the Ghost Fairy Sister said, offering a token reassurance. Then he started collecting the scattered, unwanted vine armor pieces on the ground. Damn it, Yifan's face turned pale. Faced with an attack by dozens of well-trained NPCs, Yifan inevitably felt somewhat overwhelmed. Snap, Yifan severed a thrown spear in half. No, this can't go on. We can't stay here any longer, Yifan thought to himself. All the natives in the 3 villages have red names. Even if we win this battle and successfully protect the newbie village, his future development will be affected. Sigh, at this point we have no choice but to avoid their sharp edge and leave this place. Yifan smiled bitterly. A perfect opportunity. Shisan, the first warrior who had just returned from Shi village, immediately grabbed his spear. Throw it. Upon seeing the spear, Wang Heianen, hidden in the shadows, casually pointed, and an invisible force enveloped the spear, concealing its aura and increasing its speed. Snap! Right on the heart of the chrysanthemum. Ah, Yifan screamed and jumped up. Upon hearing the sound, everyone looked over and saw that the undying immortal emperor's blood energy had instantly dropped by half, and a long spear had appeared on his buttocks, causing him to continuously lose blood. Immortal Emperor's bloodline HP bar. 3007,000. Immortal Emperor's bloodline HP bar. 2907,000. Immortal Emperor's bloodline HP bar. 2807,000. 100. 100. 100. Blood and energy are constantly decreasing. Severely injured. Upon seeing this, the players inexplicably felt a chill in their chrysanthemums, and their bodies tensed up. Where no one could see, Chen Zhou held a handful of Qi luck energy in his hand and refined it in an instant. Yifan's total luck value decreased by 100,000. Bastard, I'll make you die. Ouch! Tilda, before he could finish his threat, intense pain interrupted Yifan's words. Yifan had accidentally aggravated his wound by speaking too forcefully. Yifan was in so much pain that he was sweating profusely. Only now did he realize that he had forgotten to lower his pain response. 100% pain response. Damn it. Brothers and sisters, this bastard is seriously injured. Kill him. Kill this heartless bastard. I, the village chief, will avenge them. The remaining villager NPCs were in a bloodthirsty frenzy, determined to kill Yi Fan. Crackling sounds. Knock, knock, knock. The sounds of weapons breaking and rattan armor being struck echoed each other, like a symphony from an ancient battlefield, impacting the hearts of players and viewers in the live stream. Some timid viewers were so frightened they cried, and many were too scared to watch the live stream. The ghost fairy was so frightened that her lips turned white, and her legs trembled slightly. This game is so realistic. Ding tilde, you're dead. Your level has dropped by 1, your gold coins have decreased by 500, and your black iron sword has been dropped. With a flash of golden light, Yi Fan appeared at the resurrection point. Yi Fan had died once. Yi Fan's face was terribly gloomy. Being ambushed by NPCs and beaten to death by a swarm of ants was an utter disgrace for Yi Fan. Surround that cave, and the Chosen One can be resurrected. A mysterious voice suddenly rang out among the villagers. Don't destroy the cave, trap them to death. The mysterious voice rang out once more. Oh no, run! The players scattered instantly. The respawn point can only be exited, not re-entered. This applies to players as well. The ghost fairy sister Meng Xiang hurriedly ran to a large tree far away from the village and hid there, then decisively logged off. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Thai letter E34, letter 3D6, Thai letter E34, Japanese letter. Chapter 233, number 7, Newbie Village Counterattack Plan. Huff, huff, Meng Xiang gasped for breath. Meng, are you all right? A delicate and adorable young woman stepped forward to comfort her with concern. Meng Xiang shook her head. It's nothing, I was just a little frightened. Let me calm down. The scenes from Primordial Era, Infinite Myths, were terrifying for a pampered young lady like Meng Xiang. I told you not to play around, but you wouldn't listen. Now you're scared, aren't you? Tilda, Meng Xiang's best friend, Yu Yixi, laughed without any restraint. Meng Xiang glared fiercely at Yu Yixi with her beautiful eyes. You talk too much. Yu Yixi didn't care and asked seriously. Xiang, what should we do next? It seems like your starting village is surrounded by NPCs. Meng Xiang shook her head. I don't know, let me rest for a bit. I reckon someone will add me soon. The fact that the Newbie Village respawn point is surrounded by Newbie Village NPCs without being attacked is something other players definitely can't stand. However, how to counterattack the NPCs requires players to discuss and formulate a counterattack plan together. The game doesn't have a teleportation support system yet, so relying on other players for help is unrealistic. Giving up the number 7 Newbie Village would also come at a high cost, and players are unwilling to accept that. If word got out that you were beaten to a pulp by the natives in the Newbie Village, would you tolerate it? Ding, host has broadcast the major event Player's Tragedy, allowing countless viewers to witness the reality and difficulty of the game Primordial Era, Infinite Myths, inspiring the fighting spirit of some viewers. Host has gained 10,000 game experience points, 3,000 gold coins, and the low-grade Xuan level Divine Ability, Concealment. Hearing that the mission reward had arrived, Meng Xiang was overjoyed. With 10,000 experience points, she could break through to the Foundation Establishment realm and become a Foundation Establishment cultivator at level 21 in the game. On the other side, in the cramped and dark rented room, Yi Fan slowly opened his eyes, his face full of gloom. Damn natives, they made me drop a level, unforgivable. Yi Fan barked furiously, the sound echoing throughout the room. Yi Fan grew angrier the more he thought about it. In a fit of rage, he picked up the water glass that he had used for 3 years on the bedside table and smashed it hard on the ground. Bang! With a crisp sound, the water glass shattered into pieces, scattering fragments all over the floor. Bang, bang, bang! The simple door made a deafening noise. This was followed by the neighbor's angry roar. Smash it all, get the hell out here. You bark like a dog this early in the morning. Believe me, or not, I'll tear down your dilapidated house. Upon hearing his neighbor's insults, Yi Fan instantly regained his composure and calmed down. Yi Fan glanced at the door that was banging on it, but did not answer. You damned gorilla, just you wait. A gentleman takes his revenge even after 10 years. Yi Fan secretly vowed in his heart. He's enduring it because he has no money and no power now. When Yi Fan didn't respond, the neighbor cursed a few more times before leaving angrily. Yi Fan sat expressionlessly on the edge of the bed, beginning to recall details about the game, Primordial Era, Infinite Myths from his previous life. The native inhabitants of the primordial world, infinite mythology, possess the ability to think for themselves and will freely change their behavior depending on the player's choices. Yifan clearly remembered that a similar NPC riot had occurred in the starting village in his previous life, because some players wanted to try some kind of indescribable activity on the NPCs. As a result, the NPCs rioted, and the players in the entire starting village were massacred by the native NPCs, and even the resurrection point was destroyed. The player who was killed went to question the game's officials, who immediately explained the reason for the incident. Then, the players who stirred up trouble were taken in for questioning by officials from various countries. After that incident, all the players became much more obedient and dared not offend the natives. This is Yifan's most profound memory, and it's the only case he remembers. Yifan was very surprised by Ishimura's betrayal. According to Yifan's original deduction, the village chief of Stone Village, seeing the potential of the chosen player, would likely choose to side with the player and, driven by self-interest, use the player's huge advantage of being able to resurrect to fight against two villages and repel their invasion. After a brief rest, they led the players in a swift and decisive attack, capturing Wang Village and Niu Village with lightning speed. As a result, the village chief of Shi Village actually chose to cooperate with Wang Village and Niu Village to sell players. This series of actions caught Yifan completely off guard. Adding to Yifan's carelessness, he failed to dodge and was successfully ambushed by the returning Stone Village natives, who instantly crippled him before killing him. Whenever Yifan thought about this incident, he would get furious and wish he could tear the sixth brother who ambushed him to pieces. Yifan, a reborn individual and a future nascent soul cultivator, was publicly humiliated by an unknown, insignificant native. Yifan sighed. For now, we should first figure out how to deal with the natives blocking the respawn point. Yifan's mind lit up, and he came up with a brilliant plan. That's it. That female streamer. I can have that streamer, what's her name, Sister Ghost, gather players from the number 7 newbie village and organize them to counterattack those natives and take back the newbie village. Having come up with a solution, Yifan immediately took action. Through keyword search, he quickly found the live stream account of the Ghost Fairy sister, Meng Xiang. After a brief private message exchange and verification of game nicknames, Yifan successfully joined the temporary group, Chat Newbie Village Counterattack Camp. Still the same young man. Hello everyone, I am the Immortal Emperor. You can just call me the Immortal Emperor. The administrator, always eager for drama. Oh, it's Spear Bro. My apologies for not recognizing you sooner. Upon seeing this sentence, Yifan's face instantly darkened. His face filled with black lines, and a stroke of luck secretly slipped away. Ghost Fairy Sister, group owner. Stop, everyone, calm down. Let's discuss how to counterattack the NPCs and retake the starting village. Meng Xiang quickly stepped in to take sides. After sending the message, Meng Xiang glared fiercely at Yu Yixi, who was watching the drama unfold beside her, and said, "Yu Yixi, you better behave yourself or I'll kick you out." "Wah, I'm out of love, Meng Meng." Yu Yixi immediately put on a pitiful, crying face. Just then, several more messages appeared in the group chat. Seeing that there was something amusing to watch, Yu Yixi's expression instantly changed, and she looked at the chat group with shining eyes. "I don't eat beef. A counterattack is inevitable, but we need to plan how to fight it first, otherwise it will be too chaotic." Nuamisai Bar. Indeed, we were all working independently before, with absolutely no teamwork. The circus escapes again. Bald Qiang. There's also the intelligence problem. We have absolutely no idea about the NPC's deployment outside. Acting recklessly will definitely result in heavy losses. Immortal Emperor. I lost my weapon. Does anyone have a chance to lend me one? I'm a carry. Balala the Dark Fairy. Brother, use mine. My level is too low. I can't use a sword effectively. The little girl gets excited. I don't know how to fight either. Could you give me your weapons and equipment? I don't want to fight. This might not be enough. Gentlemen, I'm also a girl. I don't know how to fight, and I'll give you my weapons. I won't participate in this operation. Several girls immediately voiced their opinions. They didn't want to fight with NPCs. How old are you during the holiday? I'm too scared to go out either. Can I give you my gear? The group remained silent. After a while, Meng Xiang broke the silence. Ghost Fairy Sister. I think this is a good idea. Girls aren't good at fighting, and they won't be of much help going out. Instead of wasting their armor and weapons, it's better to leave them for the most suitable person. Immortal Emperor, that works too. Girls really aren't good at fighting. Yifan also agreed with what the Ghost Fairy Sister said. Just like what the Fairy Sister said, instead of letting these cannon fodder lose their equipment, we should give all the equipment to him and let him carry the game. I don't eat beef. That works too. Male players can organize a suicide squad, take turns attacking, and use support personnel if their equipment is lost. New MSA Bar. By the way, remember to transfer gold coins to non-combat personnel before attacking to avoid losing gold coins upon death. The player Numis also added a suggestion. Ghost Fairy Sister, okay, let's leave it at that for now. We'll arrange the specific attack plan once we enter the game. Before I log out of the game, I'll be on a tree outside the village, where I can gather information for everyone. The online time will be unified to 8:00 p.m. tonight. What do you think? I don't eat beef, I have no objection. Glutinous rice cake, I'm fine with anything. How old are you during your vacation? Agreed. Balala the Dark Fairy, see you at 8 p.m. then. The little girl gets excited. Okay. Bald Kiang escaped from the circus. Received. Immortal Emperor, all right, we'll meet at 8 p.m. tonight. Chapter 234, Explosive Attack Method. Earth Time 20:00. Players from Beginner Village number 7 appeared one after another at the resurrection point of Beginner Village number 7 in the game Primordial World, Infinite Myth. Immortal Emperor. Everyone, now that everyone is here, let's assign some tasks. I don't eat beef. Brother Immortal Emperor, you are the highest level among us, so you will be in charge of assigning tasks. Yifan nodded. Since brother I don't eat beef trusts me, then I'll make the arrangements. The players nodded in agreement, with no objections. Yifan was secretly pleased, and began to divide the players into teams based on their levels, and arrange the order of their journey. Outside the respawn point, dozens of native villagers from the newbie village take turns guarding this special, inaccessible cave. Dad, it's been 5 days already. Those bad guys inside must be starving to death by now, asked a 10-year-old NPC. The strong native NPC beside the child gently patted the child NPC's head and said, "Good boy, if you're hungry, go back and eat." The child NP rubbed his rumbling stomach and looked at the distant light screen. "Dad, I'll go back and eat first. After I eat, I'll come back and watch over things with you." "Okay, let's pinky swear." The child NPC extended his little finger. "Pinky promise for 100 years, no take-backs." The child's father smiled and made a pinky promise with his child and NPC. After making a pinky promise, the child NPC smiled and waved goodbye to his father. "Dad, I'm going home now." "Slow down, don't fall." The native NPC guarding the area warned with concern. "Okay, Dad." "Alas, Fugui, you shouldn't have brought the child here," sighed another native guard. "I didn't want to either, but what happened 5 days ago?" "Sigh." The native Wang Fugui also sighed. To be honest, they didn't want to fight to the death with these chosen ones, but the chosen ones were aggressive, and if they didn't wipe them out, the village chief's fate would be their fate. "Well, let's leave it to fate." Another native leaning against a tree shook his head helplessly. "Wow, so touching, tears streaming down my face." So NPCs have feelings too, they're living, breathing people. Touched moment. I never expected to see such a heartwarming scene. It brought tears to my eyes. Damn it, I can't control my eyes either. Tears emoji. "Host, can you help them? They won't come back to life." Tears streaming down my face. This time I'm fighting on the NPC side. Players should just commit suicide. Tears streaming down my face, JPG. Seeing this, Meng Xiang's resolve to launch a counterattack on the beginner village wavered. The NPCs in Primordial Era Infinite Myths have emotions, thoughts, and even their own lives. "System, what should I do?" Meng Xiang asked the system, caught in a dilemma. Ding, host, Primordial Era, Infinite Mythology, is currently a pseudo-real world with the potential to evolve into a real world. It is a sanctuary world created by the Galactic Interstellar Alliance. The sanctuary world? Meng Xiang grasped the key phrase. Ding, yes, this world is a sanctuary created by the Galactic Interstellar Alliance to prepare for the dimensional reduction of the universe 10 years from now. If you want to survive here in the future, you must work hard to become stronger. "Live on," Meng Xiang murmured repeatedly, her teeth barely moving. Meng Xiang opened her attribute panel. Nickname, Ghost Fairy Sister. Gender, female. Age, 23. Level, 21. 1666-10000. Realm, Early Foundation Establishment. Occupation, War Correspondent. Spiritual Root. Judgment Divine Thunder Spiritual Root. A special mutated spiritual root containing the power of heavenly judgment. Talent, Judgment and Judgment. Power from another world. Destiny, Beyond the Rules. Chi and Blood, 100,000 100,000. 100,000. Cultivation level, 976,398, 900,000 plus. Combat power, 888,888, 8 million plus. Main cultivation technique, Qi guiding technique, lower yellow rank. Auxiliary cultivation methods, none. Supernatural ability, concealment, low-grade, profound rank. Faction, none. Special title, war correspondent, already worn. Magical artifact, black iron sword. Armor, vine armor. What? Immortal emperor. Ghost fairy sister, what's the layout of the NPCs outside the resurrection point? Suddenly, a greeting came from the game's temporary team chat. The ghost fairy sister, Meng Xiang, reacted, glanced at the deployment outside the resurrected area, and replied, "There are quite a few of them, so I didn't dare get too close. I saw about 70 people, divided into 3 teams with guards on the front, left, and right sides. By the way, they had some strange objects on display. I don't know what they're called, but they don't look like weapons." Immortal Emperor, all right, I understand. Hide well and wait for an opportunity to strike from the outside, to coordinate with us from within. Ghost Fairy Sister, fellow Taoist Immortal Emperor, I am not skilled in killing, but I will do my best. Meng Xiang gave a casual reply. Upon seeing the Ghost Fairy's reply, Yi Fan was frozen in place for 3 seconds before helplessly typing. Then take care of yourself. Yi Fan gave a wry smile. Female players are indeed female players. Even if they are streamers, they are useless when it comes to fighting and killing. We need him to take back the starting village. After communicating, Yi Fan looked firmly at the players behind him and gave a loud order. Team 1, charge forward with me. Team 2, deal with the enemies on the right. Team 3, guard the enemies on the left. Support team, be ready to reinforce at any time. Don't worry, I'll definitely take down those damn NPCs on the left, the second team leader. I don't eat beef, shouted back. Don't worry, I'll handle the left side. Team leader, Sticky Rice Ball Bar, confidently assured. Yi Fan nodded and commanded in a deep voice, "Attack." Upon hearing the order, the 3 teams followed Yi Fan and rushed out of the resurrection point's light barrier in an instant. "Enemy attack, quick, prepare for battle," shouted the natives on guard outside the resurrection cave. The local natives, who had been waiting in comfort, had just gotten up when the players attacked them. "Attack! Attack! Attack!" Yi Fan was filled with excitement as he led the players for the first time. "Eat shit," shouted Ishimura's sharpshooter, Ishitsu Tetsuden. A wad of incredibly foul-smelling human excrement was thrown out. Smack! Landing directly in Yi Fan's mouth. Gulp tilde Yi Fan swallowed subconsciously. Yi Fan's entire body turned red with anger. He, a dignified, nascent soul cultivator who had spent over 250 years fighting his way through the primordial continent, was actually insulted by a mere ant-like native. Unforgivable. Grenadiers, prepare. Load 1 round, fire. Seeing the attack was effective, Shitaiden immediately commanded the grenadiers from the 3 villages behind him to attack. Whoosh, 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 tilde. Clumps of excrement of different colors flew out together with the help of the dung scoops invented by the players, scattering like celestial maidens among the fighting crowd. Hateful. Holy crap. Usahlahi. What an idiotic plan. I'll fight you to the death. The players were careless and failed to dodge, so they were hit squarely by the explosive attack from the warriors of the 3 villages, and all of them were reduced to red health. "Brothers, quickly block out your sense of smell and taste," another player shouted. "You don't even need to say that." One talkative player couldn't help but retort. Before he could finish speaking, he was blocked by a foreign object. Luckily, the streamer was cautious, otherwise he would have truly become a fighter. Covers face and smiles bitterly. Holy crap, what kind of game involves throwing poop, crying and sobbing? Explosive, absolutely explosive. This game designer is a real genius. Facepalm emoji. I can only say 6. The battle continued, and the players were all bloodthirsty and went berserk. Nowadays, players are going all out and playing with extreme intensity, regardless of their current level, for no other reason than to kill these NPCs who have no sense of martial ethics. The ghost fairy sister hid in the distance, trembling with fear. She dared not get involved at all, let alone go in to pick up any unwanted equipment. Wang Heianen and Li Feiyu, who were hiding in the shadows, revealed smiles of triumph. Yi Fan, the chosen one, saw his luck plummet, while Chen Zhou made a fortune. "There's a little mouse hiding over there." Wang Heianen pointed to Meng Xiang, who was shivering and vomiting nearby. "Forget it, she's not a chosen one, there's no need for that." Li Feiyu shook his head. The two smiled at each other, and their clones slowly dissipated into the world. With the Dragon Hand calamity approaching, let Yi Fan take some time to adjust himself in preparation for the next hardship. As the saying goes, When heaven is about to place a great responsibility on a person, it first tests their resolve and strengthens their body. As the protagonist, it's reasonable for Yi Fan to be given some polishing. Meng Xiang leaned against a tree, retching uncontrollably. She seemed surprised that she had almost been affected as well. The battle continues. This counterattack in the beginner village lasted for 9 days, ultimately ending in a player victory and the retreat of the remnants of the 3 villages. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. Symbol 335, Chapter 235, Major Version Update Dragon Hand Calamity. Primordial Era Infinite Myths, 10 months later, 1 month in Earth time. Friendly reminder, the ratio of game time to Earth time is 10:1. Finally, the second closed beta test is here. I'm finally in, ha ha ha. Player I am Mitochondria shouted excitedly. This is the primordial continent. It truly lives up to its name. A top student examined the soil sample in his hand. 1 month after the launch of Primordial Era Infinite Myths, tens of millions of players have finally stabilized their positions in the various starting villages and have begun to slowly expand. The most famous of these was the Battle of Nirvana, the first battle that shocked the world. Players and the starting village fought each other day and night for 9 days, and the battle ended in a Pyrrhic victory for the players. Although the players in Beginner Village 7 won, they couldn't be happy at all. Looking at the Striver title lying quietly in their backpacks, the players in the number 7 newbie village felt worse than if they had eaten shit. Striver, a special achievement title obtained by completing the large-scale special event, Fighting Against Dung, for 9 consecutive days. It is non-tradable and will not be dropped. Increases the wearer's visibility in a crowd. Increases damage by 5%. Increases damage reduction by 7%. Increases critical hit rate by 10%, and reduces sanity by 60%. Additional active skill, Rage. Rage reduces sanity by 90%, increases all attributes by 30%, increases attack by 50%, increases critical hit rate by 20%, and increases critical hit damage by 10%. The Striver title provides a decent bonus, but players don't really like it, and some even find it offensive. Family members, haha. This is our current starting village, and we've given it a new name, Tianfu. We've had many new friends in the second closed beta test, and we hope even more will join us during the first closed beta test, said Ghost Fairy Sister Meng Xiang with a smile, as she introduced the game to the live stream audience. After several months of construction, the number 7 beginner village has been completely transformed. The players' residences have been turned into sturdy wooden houses, and several walls have been erected around the settlement to serve as Tianfu's defensive fortifications. After the Tianfu player camp was renovated, the respawn point also changed its appearance, transforming from a jarring cave into a small wooden palace with an ancient style. Compared to the broken resurrection points in other beginner villages, this is truly grand and magnificent. Of course, since there are no NPCs in Tianfu, people need to be self-sufficient in food and other aspects, and the trading market has been built by the players in a vivid and colorful way. In order to manage the normal operation of Tianfu, the players of Tianfu Camp rebuilt a management system at the suggestion of Sister Ghost Fairy. Sister Ghost Fairy also successfully won the position of Tianfu Master through her money. Other players were also rewarded according to their contributions. Player I Don't Eat Beef became the commander of the Tianfu Camp Guard, responsible for the camp's defense. Player Sticky Rice Ball became the commander of the security team, responsible for the internal security of the Tianfu Camp. Player Balala Black Fairy became the Minister of Logistics of the Tianfu Camp, responsible for arranging and managing the allocation and scheduling of public resources in the Tianfu Camp. Yi Fan, the Immortal Emperor, was unwilling to participate in management, so he received the honorary title of 5-star General and concurrently served as the honorary deputy head of the prefecture. Despite saying no, Yi Fan eventually accepted the 2 identities with a clear conscience and became a free henchman for the Tianfu Camp. Host No, Lord, is the Tianfu Camp always providing its benefits? A fan in the live stream asked directly. Yes, as long as you join our Tianfu, you'll receive a bow and arrow, 3 months of free cabin living experience, and a 2 gold coin subsidy. The Ghost Fairy Sister quickly introduced the Tianfu Camp benefits to the live stream viewers. Host, I understand. I will definitely come to Tianfu Camp when the game is officially released. Hey streamer, you know who I am, you'll have to pay me more. Confidently grinning. Haha, that's all for the perks for now. There are still 2 months until the public beta, and the in-game time is about 20 months. If we do well, we can consider giving our players some more perks. Of course, if there are unforeseen circumstances, the newbie benefits may also be cancelled. The fairy sister smiled and explained in detail to the live stream audience. The streamer is so honest, so cute. I love this kind of streamer. I love it. I hereby declare that from this day forward, I'm a die-hard fan of the streamer. Ding, new task generated. The Dragon Hand calamity is approaching, and the primordial continent is about to fall into chaos. Please broadcast the current situation of the lower-level beings in the primordial continent to the audience. Mission, when the nest is overturned, no egg remains unbroken. Task rewards, 200,000 experience points, 30,000 low-grade spirit stones, high-grade earth rank cultivation technique, Great Luo 1000 illusions technique, low-grade profound rank auxiliary cultivation technique, concealing breath technique, low-grade spiritual weapon, flying cloud fan. At the same time the mission was released, the official websites of various planets in the real universe of Primordial Era Infinite Myths simultaneously updated their version update announcements. Announcement: the new version of Primordial Era Infinite Myths is entering a major update phase. Updates will be conducted without system downtime or server downtime and will last for 3 days. Update content: the initial calamity of the Dragon and Hand dynasties has erupted, with the Dragon, Phoenix, and Killin races locked in a chaotic war, drawing in all living beings of the primordial world. Version update: Meng Xiang murmured in confusion. Yes, host, the Primordial Era Infinite Myths world is undergoing a major update, and chaos is about to erupt. Doesn't that mean my starting village is going to be ruined? Meng Xiang couldn't help but feel a little discouraged. I worked hard for several months, and then one version update wiped it all out. Meanwhile, at the Dragon Clan's main base, Ao Yuan, the first emperor, sat on his high seat and solemnly declared, "Let the war begin. I obey the decree of the ancestral emperor. I obey the decree of the ancestral emperor." The dragons roared. Hundreds of breaths later, the Dragon Clan army launched a full-scale attack, joining forces with the Phoenix clan to launch a lightning offensive against the Killin clan. "Ao Yuan, do you really not need our help?" Nuwa Chu Yangtze asked. Ao Yuan shook his head solemnly. "Miss Chu, this battle is of great importance. There is also the Rahu Demon clan in the shadows. If you join the battle prematurely, there may be unexpected changes." Chu Yangtze nodded slightly and said softly, "In that case, I'll go arrange the rest." After saying this, Chu Yangtze turned and left. "Haha, since Brother Ao Yuan has made arrangements, then Li Feiyu will not stay any longer." Fuxi Li Feiyu also took his leave. Seeing this, the others also bid farewell to Ao Yuan and left the Dragon Clan. On the other side, Yifan sat cross-legged on a huge blue stone. Yifan slowly opened his eyes and exhaled a breath of turbid air. Judging by the time, it's about the time when the Dragon Hand initial calamity will erupt. This time I must seize the opportunity and obtain the great power's favor. A glint of light flashed in Yifan's eyes. The Dragon Hand calamity had far-reaching effects, causing countless deaths and immense danger, but also presenting great opportunities everywhere. In the beginning of the Primordial Era, Great Luo immortals roamed everywhere, and golden immortals were as common as dogs. Although dangerous, opportunities were also everywhere. This crisis would be a catastrophe for other players, but it was a golden opportunity for him. The 3-day Great Era version update time, Earth Star time. If used properly, it is not impossible to defy the heavens and become an immortal. If I can seize this opportunity to become an immortal, I'll have a chance to fight for the throne of the human emperor later, Yifan thought to himself. The Primordial Era, an infinite mythology, involved not only Earthlings, but also all civilizations in the Milky Way. To surpass the geniuses of those super civilizations, one must take risks. Chapter 236, The Bad Luck Has Only Just Begun. "Dark Fairy, can we eat this fish?" A player from the second closed beta test, "I am a fish," excitedly carried the fish to Balala Dark Fairy. This fish was caught by the player, "I am a fish," after spending a whole morning fishing for it. Seeing the big fish on, "I love a fish's" shoulder, Balala the Black Fairy walked over, just about to take a look. Boom! A huge explosion rang out. The entire Heise Tanagawa River was razed to the ground and turned into a giant crater. Ding, you were casually annihilated by the primordial power of Nuwa. Your level has decreased by 1, you have lost 250 gold coins, and your weapon, the bow and arrow, is lost. Ding, you were casually annihilated by the primordial power of Nuwa. Your level has decreased by 1, you have lost 2,000 gold coins, and your cloth armor is gone. Ding, you were casually annihilated by the primordial power of Nuwa. Your level has decreased by 1, you have lost 10 gold coins, and your fishing rod is gone. Ding, you were casually annihilated by the primordial power of Nuwa. Your level will not decrease, your gold coins will not be lost, but your straw sandals are gone. Ding, you were casually annihilated by the primordial power of Nuwa. Your level has decreased by 1, your gold coins remain unchanged, but your Xuantai Huangjia armor is lost. Ding, your camp Tianfu camp has been destroyed. The respawn point has been destroyed. All players have lost 2 levels and 3% of their gold. The respawn point has been refreshed. The game system announcements sounded one after another. Player World Channel. Player I like reading. What happened? We were wiped out. Player Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter. Nuwa, what a joke. Player I don't eat beef. I'm speechless. Player Big Yellow Chicken slowly walks. What's going on with you guys? Did you run into the goddess Nuwa? Player Ghost Fairy Sister. I didn't see it and suddenly bang, it was all gone. Player Phone Not Just Now. I'm numb. I just entered the game and I'm being targeted by the game's future ceiling. Player Like Maybe. Ha ha ha, that's hilarious. What an undeserved disaster. Player Driving a minivan. You guys are just, how should I put it, unlucky. Player Look at the beauties. What are the fighters saying? Are we going to team up and take down Nuwa? Evil Grin. Player Balala Black Fairy. Screw you, Nuwa. Believe it or not, I'll come and chop you up. Player Everyone's looking at the beauty. Heh. Come and chop me if you dare, heh. Player Balala the Black Fairy. Fine, fine. Everyone look at the beauty. If you dare, reveal your real name and see if I'm really real. Angry JPG. Player Look at the beauties. No way, girl. Do you think I'm stupid? You even gave my real name. Do you think I'm an idiot? Golden light gathered, and the fairy like Meng Shiang was resurrected at the newly refreshed resurrection point. Thanks to the death penalty exemption protection of the special hidden title, War Correspondent. Meng Shiang's level was still 26, and nothing was missing from her inventory. Family members, I'm dead. Nuwa did it. Meng Shiang angrily explained to the viewers in the live stream. Ha ha ha, I'm dying of laughter. I've encountered a future powerhouse before even leaving the beginner's village. How incredibly unlucky. Laughing heartily. Host Tianfu Camp has gone bankrupt. Facepalm and crying emoji. Our streamer has had a lot of bad luck. He was sold into slavery by the natives of the newbie village before, and now he's been casually killed by Nuwa. Host, with your luck, I'm not coming. I'm afraid of bad luck. Crying and laughing emoji. Host, maybe you should just start over. I really don't want to have this bad luck anymore. Unable to suppress a burst of laughter, JPG. Not far from Meng Shiang, a thin, ordinary-looking man stood in place as punishment, his face gloomy. His fists were clenched and his eyes were full of murderous intent. This person is Yi Fan, one of the pitiful souls who was casually killed by Nuwa Chu Yangtze. Nuwa, Yi Fan clenched his fists in anger. Nuwa is one of the future saints of the primordial world and infinite mythology, the true sealing of the world, and a truly supreme being. Just you wait if I don't avenge this, I Yi Fan, swear I'm no longer human. Yi Fan secretly vowed in his heart. Warning, warning. A large-scale monster attack has appeared outside the respawn point. All chosen ones, please clear it out immediately. The sudden game system warning abruptly interrupted Yi Fan's impotent vow. Great opportunity, but where did it refresh to? Player, I don't eat beef, complained helplessly. Brother, I don't eat beef. Forget about where we are right now. The most important thing is to clear out the monsters outside, shouted Player, I love cilantro. Damn it, I'm so angry. I'll just vent it on those monsters outside. A player from the second closed beta shouted angrily. Brothers, kill. Another battle-crazed player from the second closed beta shouted. Incited by the pro-war players, all the male players and some female players came out in droves, determined to kill all the monsters outside the respawn point. Family members were heading out to slay monsters now. Those who are easily frightened, please prepare yourselves. Those who are too scared to watch, please don't force yourselves, Meng Shiang said, offering a token reminder. Don't worry, streamer, I'm ready. No need for the streamer to say more. My sword is already itching for a fight. Don't be a coward, streamer. Go in and take them on charge. The viewers in the live stream repeatedly offered their verbal support. The number of viewers in the upper right corner has inevitably decreased by a small amount. Kill these monsters. Slay monsters, grind experience, build a harem. Charge! The player yelled and rushed out of the respawn point, and the next second all the players were stunned. Killin' Phoenix Dragon. sky and ground. There was fighting everywhere. Upon seeing this, the ghost fairy sister Meng Xiang subconsciously activated her concealment ability and took a step back, pulling all the players to her side. Holy crap, a three-race war. Brother, is it too late for me to regret this? Gulp, Yifan nervously swallowed. How did the story of the dragon, phoenix, and Qilin fighting come about here? Damn it. Insects daring to peer at the heavens perish. A fire phoenix its data messages filled with let out a low murmur. All players, along with the newly spawned 7 respawn point, were instantly obliterated. Except for Meng Xiang, all players' levels dropped by 3, and the resurrection points started to refresh again. Damn it, Yifan clenched his fists. Before the powerful being could even smell his fart, his level dropped by 6. In a fit of anger, Yifan vented his frustration again and also gifted Chen Zhou 200,000 luck points. Family members, wasn't it a grand scene? It was bought with lives. Even the ghost fairy sister was somewhat speechless. He had just been killed by Nuwa, and then inexplicably arrived at the main battlefield of the dragon, phoenix, and Qilin, where he was killed by an unknown phoenix. Fortunately, her title as a war correspondent exempted her from the death penalty, otherwise she would have really cried. Level 6, how many players can reach level 6? This is just the beginning of a major update era. If we stay here a few more days, we'll all be back to square one. Damn it, I'm not playing for the next couple of days. I'm logging off and will be back in 3 days, an exasperated player from the first closed beta test said. He finally managed to reach level 12, but within minutes his level dropped by half. What's the point of playing this game? I'm quitting too, damn it. Fellow Taoists, see you in 3 days. Everyone, I'm leaving. Please make yourselves at home. Within seconds, all the players logged out. In the vast resurrection point, only 2 people remained in an instant. One was the ghost fairy sister Meng Xiang, who would not lose levels, and the other was Yifan, who wanted to seek fortune in danger. The respawn point instantly fell silent. Seeing that the ghost fairy sister was still only level 26, Yifan was even angrier. Chapter 237, Encounter with the Orc Tribe. Aren't you going out? Yifan cast a questioning look at the ghost fairy sister. Ghost fairy sister is a streamer and won't lose levels. So in the current situation, she's the perfect person to go out and do live streaming. Faced with Yifan's question, the ghost fairy sister smiled politely and said softly, "Wait a bit. It's not too late to go out after we've confirmed that the resurrection point is safe." Yifan nodded, agreeing with the ghost fairy sister's point of view, and said nothing more. Primordial Era, Infinite Myths. The resurrection point is destroyed, and all players belonging to that resurrection point will lose levels, even if they log off. This is the anti-negativity game mechanism in Primordial Era, Infinite Myths, to prevent players from exploiting bugs. However, the Ghost Fairy Sisters' death penalty exemption shattered Yifan's understanding. Even though Yifan was a reincarnated person, he was still quite envious of the bug-level effect of this special hidden title. Unfortunately, the title cannot be traded or dropped, so even if Yifan desperately wanted it, there was nothing he could do about other people's titles. 3 minutes later, the respawn point was safe and sound, and no danger warnings were issued. Yifan took a deep breath and walked outside with a determined look in his eyes. Seeing that Yifan hadn't returned after 20 minutes, Ghost Fairy Sister Meng Xiang cautiously walked towards the light screen. "All right, everyone, based on my assessment, there's probably no danger outside. Let's go out and check it out now," the Ghost Fairy Sister explained enthusiastically to the live stream audience. "Host, don't make promises you can't keeping, it can easily backfire." Facepalm and crying emoji. "Hey streamer, don't listen to that nonsense upstairs, go check it out, or King of Fighters referring to Yifan will really be on his way. Go for it, JPG. Meng, don't hesitate, hesitation will lead to defeat. Come on, you can do it. Hee, I'm a real powerhouse, very strong." The fairy sister confidently clenched her pink fist. Then, under the watchful eyes of countless expectant viewers in the live stream, the Ghost Fairy Sister stepped out without hesitation and entered the light screen. The next second, 2 sharp spear tips, gleaming with a cold light, pointed like venomous snakes at the Ghost Fairy Sister's neck, which was as smooth and delicate as mutton-fat jade. The smile on the beautiful face of the Fairy Sister came to an abrupt end. The Ghost Fairy Sister had no time to react, and could only quickly raise her hands to show that she had no intention of resisting. Immediately afterwards, a rough voice rang out. "Oh, it's actually a woman. Look at that delicate skin and tender flesh, she must taste delicious. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha." The surrounding upright orcs also joined in with unrestrained laughter. The ghost fairy's face was as pale as snow, and she kept thinking of a way to deal with the situation. Holy crap, orc tribe, the streamer's done, let's feast. Doge emoji for protection. The anchor in front of the screen, hee hee. The streamer behind the scenes, no, not at all. The immortal emperor is such a jerk. He didn't utter a sound when danger struck, causing our streamer to become a prisoner too, boo-hoo. Damn, the streamer won't get, you know, bursts into a split-screen JPG. Oh no, it's really going to end up on the dinner table this time. Completely cracks JPG. Take them away. The orc hunting captain waved his hand, and several orc warriors walked towards the ghost fairy with sly smiles. The next moment, a huge explosion rang out. A huge crater appeared where the fairy sister had been standing, and the resurrection point behind her instantly crumbled. Ding, your resurrection point, Tianfu, has been destroyed by player Ghost Fairy Sister through self-destruction. All players have had their levels reduced by 2 and have lost 5% of their gold. Upon hearing the game system's punishment notification, Yi Fan slowly raised his heavy head, a bitter smile appearing on his lips. Hey kid, you've got some nerve, still gotta be energetic even after being gutted. A radiant orc leader walked over. Yi Fan's eyes widened in horror, his scarlet eyes fixed on the grotesque and hideous orc in front of him. Yi Fan's anger burned uncontrollably. If looks could kill, the orc leader would have been dead tens of thousands of times over by now. Kid, you dare glare at me? The orc walked up to Yi Fan, annoyed, and stretched out a hand. Black Hand Steel. Yi Fan was in so much pain that he couldn't make a sound. Yi Fan glared at the despicable orc who had been so open and honest with him, his eyes filled with murderous intent. Seeing Yi Fan's expression of wanting to kill him, but being unable to, the orc leader dug even harder. Open your heart and soul. This moment is fully embodied in the universe. Little whirlwind, that's enough. Don't kill the ingredients or they won't be fresh tonight. A rough and authoritative voice rang out. Little whirlwind turned his head and saw that the person who came was his chieftain uncle. Upon hearing his uncle's instruction, Little Whirlwind immediately stopped playing his game and said, "Understood, uncle." The orc chieftain nodded in satisfaction, then added, "Little Whirlwind, keep a close eye on this human. Don't let him die." "Yes, uncle." Little Whirlwind, the orc native, replied earnestly. The orc chieftain nodded, then changed direction and continued his patrol of the territory. Yi Fan was in so much pain that he couldn't make a sound. 10 minutes ago, Yi Fan saw that the respawn point had not been destroyed, and no danger warning had been issued. Yi Fan judged that the danger level outside the resurrection point was not high, so he went straight out. Sure enough, as soon as Yi Fan emerged from the resurrection point screen, he saw several sneaky orcs. Judging from their levels, they were all around level 20. To Yi Fan, who was only level 16, these orcs were nothing more than experienced monsters. Without hesitation, Yi Fan struck first, leaving the orcs utterly defenseless. But just a few seconds later, Yi Fan, who was in the middle of a fierce fight, suddenly felt a sharp pain in the back of his neck and then collapsed. When Yi Fan woke up again, he found himself tied to a cross-shaped wooden stake. He was awakened by the pain in his abdomen. Then the little orc saw Yi Fan look up and came over to him, pouring his heart out. On the other side, golden light condensed, and the ghost fairy sister reappeared at the resurrection point. Family members, was the streamer's reaction quick enough? Was it exciting enough? The fairy sister's eyes were filled with excitement. 666. Streamer, you've really mastered the art of self-destruction when you encounter someone. Facepalm. Ha ha ha, no wonder he's a streamer, he didn't even leave the enemy with a corpse. Laughing so hard I can't live anymore. Streamer, I'm so impressed I can't believe my eyes. Thumbs up JPG. Tianfu Camp player, why did you blow up the respawn point? Smiling JPG. Host, that's fun. Hee hee JPG. Host, can you please tell me in advance next time? I was so worried about you and you just made me cry. Angry JPG. By the way, does anyone remember the immortal emperor? Remember what he did? He couldn't beat them, so he didn't self-destruct. Isn't that just making things difficult for himself? Cool and sassy JPG. Why bother with that guy, streamer? Let's keep going. I refuse to believe our luck will be that bad this time. Haha, let's rest for a bit first, and then the immortal emperor will check on him to see if he's all right, the ghost fairy sister said with a laugh. The streamer is so kind, I love it, I love it. I grant your permission, grand and imposing image. The ghost fairy sister smiled kindly, but her waiting for the immortal emperor wasn't out of kindness. She wanted to rub salt into his wounds. Get revenge on my teammates for letting me down. He actually sacrificed himself to feed the enemy and betrayed her. This is unforgivable. Chapter 238 Yi Fan's Various Ways of Dying. Half an hour later, Yi Fan still hadn't revived. Feeling bored, the ghost fairy sister decided to temporarily quit the game and go home to rest. 3 hours later, in game time, Yi Fan appeared at the respawn point with a gloomy expression. "Damn orcs, once I've grown stronger, I'll make sure there are no more orcs in this world," Yi Fan shouted angrily. After nearly 7 hours of torture, Yi Fan was in so much pain that he wanted to cry but couldn't. The experience was so unbearable that he felt like he was crying out to heaven and earth in vain. "And you, sixth brother who ambushed me, you better not let me find out who you are or I'll make you pay the price," Yi Fan barked helplessly. "Wife, this guy actually dared to boast that he'd make you pay," Zhao Zilong said with amusement. Chu Kishwang smiled faintly. "That depends on whether he can survive." Chu Siai's widow spoke lightly, but the confidence and domineering aura she conveyed were self-evident. "Wife, what's next?" Zhao Zilong's eyes gleamed with excitement. "Proceed according to plan and fulfill your duties as hosts." Chu Kishwang smiled slightly. The stone that knocked Yi Fan unconscious was deliberately thrown by Chu Kishwang. With the game privileges granted by the Destiny villain system, the 7 of them and the dragon have the authority to freely enter and exit the respawn point, and can also modify the respawn location of the newbie village's respawn point. The respawn locations of the Tianfu camp respawn points were all the work of Zhao Zilong and Chu Kishwang. Yi Fan scratched the back of his head. "Strange, why do I feel so uneasy?" Yi Fan cautiously and carefully surveyed the interior of the resurrection point, finding it completely empty and devoid of any suspicious activity. The ghost fairy sister who wouldn't lose levels was nowhere to be found, leaving Yi Fan alone at the entire resurrection point, which was very quiet. Yi Fan shook his head helplessly and said with a wry smile, "Never mind, maybe it's a side effect of the orcs. The respawn point is fine, let's continue with the plan," Yi Fan reminded himself silently. In the primordial era, the infinite mythology, one can only be resurrected for 10 years, Earth time, which is no more than 100 years in game time. If one cannot use this 100 years of game time to defy fate, the subsequent cultivation will be extremely difficult. "I don't have much time left," Yi Fan said with a bitter smile. Then walked towards the respawn point light screen. Boom. Ding, you stepped on a Tier 2 spirit plant potato mine. You were killed. Your level dropped by 1, your weapon, the cow bone, was lost, and you lost 250 gold coins. As the game system announced this, Yi Fan returned to the center of the respawn point with a gloomy expression. Yi Fan died again, and his level dropped to level 11. Yi Fan skillfully opened his attribute panel. Nickname, Immortal Emperor. Gender, male. Age, 26. Level, 12, 444-2000. Realm, Early Qi Refining Stay. Career path not yet selected. Spiritual root, Innate Chaotic Spiritual root. Special talent, Eye of the Gods. Qi and Blood, 2000-2000. Cultivation level, 123,561, 100,000 plus. Combat power, 854,399, 800,000 plus. Main cultivation technique, Supreme Dragon Transformation True Technique, High-Grade Heaven Rank. Auxiliary Cultivation Technique, Earth Circle Mid-Grade Earth Rank. Spells and Supernatural Abilities, Blazing Fire High-Grade Yellow Rank. Inch of Light Low-Grade Profound Rank. Ninefold Wave Sword Middle-Grade Profound Rank. Secret Techniques, Spirit Transformation Secret Technique, Upper Grade Profound Rank. Turtle Breathing Technique, Lower Grade Profound Rank. Faction None. Special Title, King of Fighters. Magical Artifacts, Ancient Wooden Shield, Mid-Grade Magical Artifact. Ancient Wooden Sword, Mid-Grade Magical Artifact. Cloud Walking Robe, Low-Grade Spiritual Artifact. Armor, Ancient Wood Armor, Superior Magical Item. Blood Wolf Leather, Mid-Grade Magical Item. Blood Wolf Underwear, Inferior Magical Item. Weapons, Standard Spear, Standard Attack, Standard Stone Knife, Standard Bone, Standard Bow and Arrow. Looking at the ugly attribute panel, Yi Fan's face was terribly gloomy. He had finally managed to reach level 22 before the Dragon Hand Calamity, but after one accident after another, he was back to level 12. Level 10. If I could obtain a part of a powerful demon beast's body or its essence blood, it would all be worth it, Yi Fan silently comforted himself. After speaking, Yi Fan rallied his spirits and solemnly approached the light screen. The next second, boom. Ding, you stepped on a Tier 2 spirit plant explosive grass. You were killed in the explosion. Your level dropped by 1, you lost 250 gold coins, and you lost your weapon, the stone knife. As the game system announced, Yi Fan reappeared in the center of the respawn point. Damn it, why is it happening again? Yi Fan barked helplessly. I refuse to believe that this entrance is full of potato mines and explosive grass. Yi Fan said angrily, slamming his fist on the ground 3 times. As the saying goes, things don't happen more than 3 times. Yi Fan regrouped once again and cautiously walked towards the resurrection point. Having learned from his previous 2 experiences of being killed by explosions, Yi Fan was smarter this time. He went out first, carefully checked the ground, and only after confirming that there was no danger did he cautiously step out of the light curtain. It really is a valley of spiritual plants. No wonder there are potato mines and explosive grass. I see. Yi Fan nodded with a broad smile. With this valley full of rare and precious materials, leveling up will be a piece of cake. I need to hurry and collect it while those guys are away, Yi Fan thought with delight. Without hesitation, Yi Fan rolled up his sleeves, walked up to a strange white flower, picked it, and put it in his mouth. Ding, you were stung to death by a Tier 2 spirit insect, the yellow needle bee. Your level has decreased by 1, you have lost 250 gold coins, and your magical artifact, the ancient wooden sword, has been lost. Oh yeah, Yi Fan barked in exasperation. Bumblebees, how could there be bumblebees here? I'm so angry, I'm so angry. Yi Fan was so angry that his face turned red. This giant yellow needle bee was, of course, transferred by Zhao Zilong using spatial power the instant Yi Fan ate the white spirit flower. Again, Yi Fan roared, then cautiously stepped out of the respawn point. Ding, you stepped on a Tier 2 poisonous spirit insect, and you have been poisoned to death. Your level has decreased by 1, you have lost 500 gold coins, and your magical artifact, the ancient wooden spear, has been dropped. Yi Fan was resurrected again, but this time he was speechless. Without saying much, Yi Fan walked out of the respawn point once again. This time, Yi Fan took out a wooden stick and carefully checked every part of the place, afraid that he might accidentally die due to carelessness. Along the way, Yi Fan carefully put the useful medicinal herbs into his backpack. Learning from the experience of the giant yellow needle bee, Yi Fan did not dare to take them orally directly. A frenzied roar rang out. Yi Fan paused for a moment, and the next second, a fat white pig pressed down on Yi Fan. Not good, Yi Fan's body trembled. Lustful crazy pig. Yi Fan fought back fiercely, making a desperate struggle. But unfortunately, this lustful dream boar was a 3rd-tier demon beast, equivalent to a golden core cultivator in the human race. Because it was a demon beast, the lustful dream boar's flesh was far stronger than that of a human of the same realm. Yi Fan's limbs were crushed, leaving behind 2 lines of humiliating, bitter tears. Ding, you encountered a Tier 3 monster, the lustful dream boar. You were killed. Your level dropped by 1, you lost 250 gold coins, and your wolf blood underwear armor is missing. Ding, the Tier 3 monster, the lustful dream boar, driven by insatiable lust, has destroyed your resurrection point in a fit of rage. All players at the Tianfu Camp resurrection point have had their levels reduced by 2 and have lost 10% of their gold. Yi Fan lay on the ground, his eyes vacant, seemingly still recovering from the exhilarating battle he had just fought. P.S. Please encourage me to update and support me with your love. 1 letter 1D551. Chapter 239 Temple. Xiaolong Yuanfeng, do you really intend to exterminate us all? Shikilin stared at the menacing Xiaolong and Yuanfeng with a gloomy expression, secretly pondering a countermeasure. Yuanfeng raised her head slightly, her beautiful and aloof face expressionless. She stared straight back at Shikilin with icy eyes and said slowly, Shikilin, you don't need to try to sow discord among us. We are here today to see you off. Xiaolong Aiyuan said in a deep voice, Shikilin, don't waste your time. We will resolve the matter between our clan and the Phoenix clan ourselves afterward. Now please go ahead. With that, the ancestral dragon exuded an incomparably powerful aura, sweeping towards the first Qilin like a surging wave. Zulong made his move, and Yuanfeng was not far behind. The 3 powerful figures clashed in an instant. On the edge of the battlefield between the 3 races, a cold and stern young man watched everything with an unwavering expression. The ancestral dragon, the primordial phoenix, the first Qilin. The cold-faced young man remained calm and composed, showing neither joy nor sorrow. This person, no, this god and demon, is none other than the infamous demon ancestor, Rahu. In order to forge the 4 swords of Zhuxian and the Zhuxian diagram, which are treasures of slaughter, Luo, who secretly fueled the flames and intensified the conflict between the 3 races. Chen Zhou only glanced at it casually and didn't pay any more attention. Inside Nua's palace, the original Nua was practicing chess with Chu Yangtze. No matter how fierce the battle outside was, causing the heavens to collapse and all things to wither, it could not affect the two of them in the slightest. "Aren't you going out for a walk with those people?" Nua asked softly, looking at the woman before her with interest. Chu Yangtze gently shook her head. "I think this game of chess is more interesting than going outside." As she spoke, Chu Yangtze gracefully extended her jade-like hand, and a black piece gently landed on the chessboard. In an instant, the entire chessboard seemed to be shrouded by an invisible force, and the originally calm situation instantly became turbulent and dark. The black piece, like a brilliant star in the night, shines with a mysterious light. The pieces around it seem to be drawn by something and begin to move. The Black Army transforms into a giant black dragon, putting the White Kingdom in grave danger. Nua nodded slightly, and a beam of white light flew out from her delicate hand, instantly turning the situation around. The White Guardian General unleashed a sword strike, repelling the menacing black dragon. Meanwhile, on Earth, a large number of players went to the official website of Primordial Era Infinite Myth to protest. Due to the update of the new version, countless players from the first and second closed beta tests were caught off guard, and their levels plummeted. Most importantly, even if a player leaves the game, they will still be penalized if their respawn point is accidentally destroyed. Some unlucky ones will have their level and inventory reset to 0 and be relegated to the primitive era. Of course, not all players are so unlucky. Some players are incredibly lucky and find an unusually heavy scale when they go out. They sell it in the game store and get tens of thousands of high-grade spirit stones, becoming rich overnight and making others envious. The official Earthstar account of Primordial Era Infinite Myths also responded, "Take it or leave it." Seeing the indifferent attitude of the official team of Primordial Era Infinite Myths, many players were so angry that they chose to quit the game. But many more players continue playing the game, hoping to become one of the lucky ones in Primordial Era Infinite Myths. Immediately, players worried about losing levels logged in and entered Primordial World Infinite Myths, hoping to take off in one fell swoop. The bold get rich. The timid starve. This moment perfectly encapsulates the reality for the players. Hee, family, I'm back again. Let's try our luck this time and see if we can find some powerful fragments and become rich overnight. Ghost Fairy Sister boasted to the viewers in the live stream with high spirits. "Streamer, you're just bragging. With your terrible luck, surviving outside is a pipe dream." Schadenfreude JPG. "Every time you peek out, it's just a second. If you manage to find the treasure, I'll do a handstand and poop. Upstairs, I've already taken a screenshot. If you can't do it, I'll sue you for fraud." "No, buddy, are you serious?" "Ha ha ha, you'd better not chicken out if you're doing a handstand to poop." Evil grin. "This is the first time I've ever seen someone poop upside down in my life. Keep it up, streamer, and satisfy everyone." "Host, I'll offer incense to Buddha right now and ask him to bless you." "Haha, get ready bro, you doing the upside down pooping thing. I'll send you a big rocket gift then." Meng Xiang teased, never one to miss a good laugh. Just then, Yi Fan reappeared at the respawn point. Level displayed, level 4. As Yi Fan, covered in dust and dirt, approached him with a playful glint in her eye, and asked with a smug look, "Undying Immortal Emperor, are you all right?" Upon hearing this, Yi Fan angrily raised his head, and a stunningly beautiful face came into view. Ghost Fairy Sister, level 26. Upon seeing the person who arrived, Yi Fan's heart skipped a beat with anger, but he still stubbornly replied, "It's nothing. Are you really all right?" Yi Fan glanced at the Ghost Fairy Sister expressionlessly without saying a word, but it was obvious to anyone with eyes that Yi Fan was angry. With Meng Xiang's help, Chen Zhou gained another 200,000 luck points. Including the previous odds and ends, Chen Zhou obtained a total of 3 million luck points from Yi Fan. Of course, Meng Xiang was unaware of all this. Beep side quest generated. As a qualified war correspondent, you need to find your own fun. Side quest, follow the player Undying Immortal Queen and see what he's doing. Task reward, 100,000 experience points. High-grade Earth rank Divine Power, Great Heavenly Creation Palm, 5th grade Elixir, Glazed Phoenix Profound Pill. Upon hearing about the new mission, Meng Xiang immediately became excited. 100,000 experience points. Advancing to the Golden Core stage, she was thrilled. Stepping out of the light barrier, Yi Fan cautiously observed his surroundings, fearing that some strange monsters might suddenly appear. Amitabha Buddha, esteemed benefactors, since you are here, why not come in and have a seat? A golden light and a Buddhist voice emanated from the temple. Yi Fan looked up and saw the mountain mist dissipate, revealing an ancient temple standing atop the mountain. A hermit NPC. Could it be the Taoist temple of Zhanti and Jiyan? Yi Fan's heart leaped with joy. If Zhanti and Jiyan, the future two Western saints, could obtain even a little benefit from these two great beings, wouldn't leveling up be a piece of cake? If he could become the disciple of these two, wouldn't he be able to roam freely in the prehistoric world? With a bit of luck, becoming a great protector of Buddhism isn't impossible. Thinking of this, Yi Fan clasped his hands in a fist salute towards the mountaintop, and then walked up the stone steps with a devout attitude. Seeing Yi Fan's actions, the other players followed suit, bowing respectfully before chasing after him. Meng Xiang glanced at the secluded and strange stone steps, searched for a moment, and then followed them inside. Chapter 240, World in the Palm of Your Hand. Before long, Yi Fan was the first to arrive at the entrance of the mysterious temple. The temple door was half closed, as if it were waiting for his arrival. Yi Fan hesitated for a moment, but quickly made up his mind and resolutely stepped across the threshold into the mysterious temple. In an instant, the world spun around, and the surrounding scenery changed drastically. The once bright sunlight had turned blood red, like a burning flame hanging in the air. The sky turned gloomy and gray, as if shrouded in a thick haze. The earth lost its vitality, and the cracked soil was covered with spider web-like cracks. The surrounding flowers, grasses, and trees had long since withered and died, leaving only broken branches and fallen leaves trembling in the wind, devoid of any life. Yi Fan stood in astonishment in the middle of the deserted street, with low, terrifying roars echoing in his ears from time to time. Yi Fan looked around, trying to figure out where he was. Strange, where exactly is this place? Yi Fan looked around warily. Boom, a violent explosion rang out. Yi Fan collapsed to the ground instantly. He was dead, yet not truly dead. Without being resurrected at the resurrection point, or receiving a level reduction notification, Yi Fan instantly realized that this was an illusion. Brother, this won't do. He'll die instantly, and Yi Fan won't even feel a thing, Jun Yixian said, shaking his head in disapproval. He Chunkyu smiled sheepishly. Brother Jun, please don't be offended. It was my mistake just now. I didn't control the force well. Next time, I promise I won't make the same mistake again, He Chunkyu promised earnestly. Ha, dream on. It's my turn this time. Don't even think about cutting in line. Jun Yixian snatched the script and began setting up the plot. A sudden shift in style. As Yi Fan appeared in the city, a large group of fierce-looking overseas mercenaries surrounded him, leaving him bewildered. So you're Yi Fan? The mercenary leader asked disdainfully. Yi Fan looked completely bewildered, but still nodded neither humbly nor arrogantly. Yes. Smack. A large slap landed on Yi Fan's face in an instant. Brothers, fire! The mercenary leader roared. Smack. Another big slap landed solidly on Yi Fan's face. So your name is Yi Fan, right? Smack. You're such a troublemaker, aren't you? Smack. So you're the king of soldiers, huh? Smack. One after another, large fists landed solidly with the soldiers' angry roars. Yi Fan wanted to fight back, but his limbs were held down, and his cultivation was nowhere to be seen, so he couldn't move at all. You idle all day long, and you don't even dare to lift a finger when your daughter is locked in a doghouse. Bah, coward! Another mercenary leader spat at Yi Fan. Upon hearing this, Pighead Yi Fan was even more bewildered. What daughter? What doghouse? He had absolutely no idea. Men, build our king of soldiers a huge doghouse. Before Yi Fan could even figure it out, the lead mercenary moved on to the next step. Yes, the henchman responded, and built a large doghouse next to the small doghouse. Their movements were so fast that even Yi Fan was speechless. Once the doghouse was built, Pighead Yi Fan was thrown inside by these people. The whole process lasted 3 hours, 2.5 of which Yi Fan was on the receiving end of the beatings. Because these people were so accurate, fast, and ruthless, Yi Fan couldn't say a word. Brother Jun, this plot is great. Now it's my turn. He Chunkyu excitedly took the script and began writing Yi Fan's tragic life. The art style suddenly changed. This time, Yi Fan appeared in a bright room surrounded by all sorts of people in white. Yi Fan was tied up like a pretzel and couldn't move. Give me the knife. The attending physician stretched out his hand. The next second, a sharp laser scalpel appeared in his hand. The attending physician picked up the laser scalpel, and with a series of fluid movements, made a swift and precise cut. Human and chicken disintegrated. The attending physician wiped his sweat and said with a smile, All right, Mr. Yi, your surgery to remove useless tissue from your body was very successful. You won't have to worry about unpleasant things in life anymore. By the way, the total cost is 250, Mr. Yi. Will you be scanning the code or paying in cash? Yifan grimaced in pain. His eyes filled with tears because he was in great agony. I'm too happy to speak. You can pay me later, Xiao Liu. Go collect some interest. The attending physician instructed to himself. Yes, Director. Dr. Liu walked up to Yifan and kindly applied the medicine to Yifan's lower back. Then, click tilde, Dr. Liu has obtained a perfectly healthy kidney. Yifan was in so much pain that he couldn't make a sound. Yifan's eyes were filled with tears because he was in great pain. Meanwhile, Meng Xiang appeared at an ancient battlefield, because Meng Xiang and her companions were not the targets of Jun Yixian and He Chunkyu. These people's tests are relatively normal. They are just some ordinary single-player dungeons, and they can get rewards by completing them. It's